All right, we should be live. Thank you everyone for tuning in and welcome along to the coverage of the Mexican Grand Prix. We are 30 minutes away from lights out. The pit lane has been open. The drivers have done a couple of setup laps and have made their way to the starting grid. The only driver yet to make their way to the starting grid, in fact, who will not be making his way to the starting grid by the looks of it, is Esteban Ocon. He is still in the pit lane, and I think he's suffering from a couple of issues, which means that he may be starting from the pit lane. So I'll just get that confirmed before we get underway. And in fact, no, it has just been confirmed. The pit lane exit is closed and Ocon is still in the pits. Ocon will be starting from the pit lane. All right, but the main focus isn't at the back. Ooh, apologies for that. The main focus isn't at the back of the pack. The main focus is at the front of the pack, where we have Charles Leclerc, Lando Norris, Max Verstappen, and Carlos Sainz lining up from 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st, respectively, on the grid. We have got a super long run down into turn number 1. There is going to be so much slipstreaming action to watch out for. This is going to be a fantastic race start. I can definitely see the drivers go at least 2 wide, at least 3 wide into turn number 1 because the track width is there. We've seen the drivers go 4 wide previously, so who knows what will happen. All right. Thank you for tuning in, and also anyone that's just asked how my throat is doing. I'm doing a lot better. I'm doing a lot better. My throat also is doing a lot better. So yeah, pretty pleased about that, to be honest. I am back to normal. I'll be good as I'll be good as normal for the sprint race and the sprint weekend we have in Interlagos in 1 week's time. All right. But here in Mexico City, air temperature is 19 degrees, track temperature is 35 degrees. The clouds are out ever so slightly, so we're going to have a little bit less, a little bit of a lower track temperature, which should help any drivers trying to do a one-stop, but a two-stop may work as well. I don't know what's going on currently with the sectors and why they're showing yellow flags. There's no sort of issues anywhere. The teams just, I think the FIA might just be testing out their systems and checking, if the marshals press the yellow flag button, does it actually show up on the system? I'm not, that's probably what it is. There's nothing that really can explain it for now because there are no cars on the circuit, so it would make no sense to have yellow flags out. All right. So, let's go through the race strategy for today. Pirelli have put out what they expect to happen. Last weekend they were slightly incorrect in their predictions. However, normally they're pretty correct. And given that track temperature here today in Mexico is 35 degrees, I think a one-stopper is the most likely. And Pirelli have predicted that. Start the race on the medium tyres, then go on to the hard tyres and end the race. And that's what they expect. The second quickest strategy, start on the hards, then go on to the mediums. And the third quickest is to start on the soft tires and do 2 stints on the mediums. So those are the 3 options really, but most likely it's going to be start the race on the medium so you can get a good launch off the line, because that is super critical going down towards turn number 1. A good launch and a good slipstream, and that should gain you a couple of places, or at least not make you lose any places going into turn number 1. And yeah, it should be fine. Right. If we look back to what happened last year, though, last year there was a safety car halfway through the race. There was a red flag as well after K-Mag got his Haas crashed into the barrier. So that, of course, mixed up the strategy totally last year, and we saw a medium hard strategy winning for Max Verstappen. And yeah, so if there is a safety car, which there is a 43% chance of this weekend, then we could see a 2-stop strategy. However, no safety cars. It looks like it will just be a 1-stop. The drivers lose 22 seconds in the pit lane under green flag conditions, and they lose 12 seconds under safety car or virtual safety car conditions. So you gain 10 seconds if you pit under virtual safety car or safety car. And yeah, the chance of a virtual safety car is pretty high. In fact, 86% in the last 7 years, we have a chance of a virtual safety car. So yeah, I mean, if we're looking on the screen right now, it looks like we've already got a virtual safety car deployed, given how many sectors are currently in the double yellows. But no, just to reiterate, the yellow flags are out for testing purposes. I think there is no sort of debris on the track or any issues like that. Why is Ocon starting in the pits? I'll just get information on that very shortly. I've forgotten actually. Yeah. All right. Also, the launch from the starting grid down to the breaking point of turn number 1 is 750 meters, nearly a full kilometer of slipstreaming and getting a good launch and trying to get past other drivers before they hit the brakes for turn number 1. So that is going to be extremely exciting to watch. And yeah, just to confirm why Esteban Ocon is starting from the pits, it is because he has opted to change his power unit elements in his car. So he's got new parts in his power unit, and that goes over the limit of. And because he's changed it after qualifying, it breaks the Parc Fermé regulations, and hence he must start from the back. Hence he must start from the pit lane. All right. Here we go, 2,000 people tuning into the live stream. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Hope you guys are enjoying the coverage. Be sure to hit the like button. It massively helps out the channel. Hopefully we can hit 2,500 likes before the race starts. It's a little ambitious, but we've had more crazy things done on this live stream before. All right. Yeah, here we go. How's your throat? My throat is doing fantastically. In fact, a lot better than 2 days ago. So yeah, I think it was a good idea actually to miss free practice 2 and free practice 3. Otherwise, my throat probably would still be hurting today. All right. What else have we got to talk about? Well, we've got the battle up at the front. Which car looks to be the quickest in race trim? The data also backs me up with this. Ferraris are the quickest car in race trim. Of course, they were quickest last weekend out in Austin. They got pole position this weekend, and they look quickest in race trim. Ferrari, in the past couple of races, they have been right up there in quali, but in the race, they've been even further up there. Their pace has been incredible in the race compared to their qualifying. Normally, we see the McLarens and the McLarens and the Red Bulls are relatively on a similar playing field when it comes to qualifying, when it comes to the race. However, Ferrari, they're on a certain level for qualifying, but they are on a much higher level for the race in terms of their pace. So if you look at all of the practice data, it does indicate that Ferrari are the quickest team in race conditions. However, McLaren and Red Bull are not that far behind. McLaren maybe half a tenth a lap, and Red Bull 1/10 a lap at maximum. So a lot of that can be decided by what the fuel loads are if one of the teams decide to underfuel the cars, because we've seen this before. McLaren pulled it off last weekend in the sprint race. Both drivers gained 2 positions off the race start because they underfueled the car. They got better acceleration off the launch, and essentially, because they underfueled the car, they could get away with much better starts, much better accuracy, and much better acceleration, than everyone else, and gain a couple of positions. So will we see maybe Norris do that again? Put maybe 10 kilos less fuel into the car, so that means he's going to have to do a lot of lifting and coasting throughout the race, but that could mean in the critical stages of the race, the first couple 2-3 laps, he'll have the pace advantage over Sainz and be able to get an overtake done. That would be that'd be interesting. Will Lawson climb as much as last week? Well, Lawson is starting in 12th position. Last week he started in 19th. So I think he is at the correct position where the Racing Bull should be. So last weekend he was in 19th. His Racing Bull definitely was much quicker than that. So he made steady progress up through the field. However, the Racing Bull is not that quick this weekend, and maybe if he gets into the points, that'll be a job well done. But I don't think he's going to be progressing 8-10 positions, because that's going to put him, right up there in second and third place, which I don't think is going to happen given how stiff the competition is up at the top of the pack. Right, is this Checo's last race? Well, I don't think it is. There's been nothing officially announced, and there haven't been that many rumours. However, it is his home race, and he's unable to perform in his home race as well. It's really not been a great season for Sergio Perez. He knows that. He said this in interviews. He knows that he's not performing as well as he should be. But there's nothing that he can do, really. Well, there is things that he can do, but he's unable to do them. And yes, unfortunately, 18th place for him. Will Piastri be able to climb up through the pack? That is the question. Now, of course, this circuit does have 3 DRS zones: one down the main straight, one down the second straight between turn 3 and turn 4, and then there's another DRS zone between the exits of turn number 11 and the entry of turn number 12. So 3 DRS zones that will give a significant advantage to any sort of car that is within 1 second of the driver ahead of them. However, that will also create some DRS trains. So there are benefits and negatives to having so much DRS. It should benefit Piastri overall, though. I think he'll definitely be able to pick off some more cars, and McLaren, they may also lower his front wing a little bit, front wing angle, to help him be a little bit more slippery in a straight line. I'm not too certain that they'll actually do that, but essentially the McLaren's pretty quick in a straight line anyway, even though their mini DRS has been disabled and they've been ruled out, cancelled by the FIA, so they've had to revert back to an older spec rear wing. But yeah, McLaren's still quick in a straight line, and with the DRS, they should be able to get some overtakes done. So Piastri should make himself, should get maybe up into the 5th and 6th position. That would be the target for him, I would say. It's going to be unlikely that he'll be able to catch his teammate, but if he can do so, then that would be incredible. All right. Hoping for a good start for Ferrari. Yeah, well, I mean, Sainz can get a great start, but the question is that everyone behind him is going to get DRS off him, and not DRS, but a slipstream off him, and they're just going to breeze right past him. So are Ferrari going to play some games? Is Carlos Sainz going to move straight to the middle of the circuit, and Charles Leclerc is also going to move immediately to the middle of the circuit? The two Ferraris blast down the main straight in formation, and Max Verstappen and Lando Norris are not anywhere to be seen. Is that's what's going to happen? Maybe Sainz messes up his start. Verstappen takes the lead initially, but then Sainz slipstreams back past him because there's 700 meters before we hit the braking point of turn number 1. There are so many different possibilities of what could happen. I'm not even going to try and get into predicting what will happen. Yeah, it's something that is a little bit pointless, to be honest, given that, yeah, there are just so many possibilities. All right. Hi, just to make sure the teams cannot refuel the car during the race. That is correct. Refueling has been banned for quite a while now in Formula 1. The cars will just go all the way till the end of the race on the fuel that they've got. All right. Also, for any of you Charles Leclerc fans out there, or Ferrari fans, Charles Leclerc, the last time he won from 4th position was Austin. He started in 4th position in the US Grand Prix, went ahead and got the win. He started in 4th position at Monza. He also went ahead and got the win there. So will it be another one of those 4th position to 1st place for Charles Leclerc? That could be a very, very exciting race indeed for him. He could get he could get up into 1st place going down into turn number 1. He could have to fight his way through Norris, Verstappen, and his teammate, which would be very exciting to see. The two Ferrari duos squabble it out. There will be a clear number 1 and number 2 driver. Carlos Sainz is leaving next year. So Ferrari are going to say, I'll give the position to Leclerc, but Carlos Sainz is also leaving next year, so that means that he doesn't have to listen to what Ferrari's got to say, because he doesn't have to face the consequences. After 3-4 races, he'll be gone anyway. So who knows? Who knows what will happen if the two Ferrari duos, the two Ferrari drivers, start battling amongst themselves. We saw it in the sprint race last weekend. They got very, very racy, but it was very clean and very fair. There was no pushing another driver off the circuit. There was no contact. So we do know the Ferrari duo can race against each other and still keep it clean. And that's what Fred Vasseur will be hoping for. All right. I'm predicting a crash at T1. Yeah, maybe there will be a crash at turn number 1. 20 drivers all looking to gain positions going into turn number 1, none of them looking to lose any positions. I could definitely see someone lock up and have a crash into T1. Perez is on the center spot. Indeed, he is. The national anthem, the Mexican national anthem, is playing now. We are 15 minutes away from the start of the race, and Sergio Perez is right there in the middle. And everyone is, all eyes are on him. Starting in 18th, will he be able to continue? He's got Piastri ahead of him to help him through. He's just got to copy what Piastri's doing, make sure that he can just continue making those overtakes and get up into the top 10. It would be great if he could score a podium. However, it looks quite unlikely, unfortunately. All right. Also, folks, if you haven't hit the like button, please be sure to do so. It massively helps out the channel and just gives it a little boost at the start of the live stream. Very much would be appreciated if you could do that. And we're getting pretty close to 110k subscribers as well. We're only 461 subscribers off. Very nice. Thank you everyone for tuning in. All right. We've got a couple of team radios coming through as well. Transcription. That might be a little bit of a glitch. We did have some issues with the team radios last weekend, and yesterday we had some issues with the tire information data. The data hasn't been the most reliable in the past 2 weeks, but I'll keep an eye on it and make sure that it works as intended. Right. Fantastic. I heard that the one-stop strategy is the best. It is indeed. Mexico Grand Prix circuit is a very low tyre wear circuit. The circuit isn't particularly abrasive, and because of that, there isn't that much tyre wear. Quite a lot of the corners as well, very slow speed. I mean, if you ignore turns number 7, 8, 9, and 10, the rest of the corners are very slow speed corners. The stadium section, very slow. Turn number 1, 2, and 3, they're medium speed. Turn number 4, 5, 6, they're also slow speed to medium speed. So not too much load going through the tyres, and the tyres also have a lot of time off, essentially, because they have the super long main straight, they have the super long second straight, and because of that, there isn't that much increase in temperature overall, because, if you can push through the middle sector, but then over the one you're coming down the main straight, your tyres cool down again, and it's not too big of an issue. So because of that, we don't see too much tyre wear at this circuit, and because we don't see too much tyre wear, we see a one-stop being the most likely, the fastest strategy out of all of them. How is the weather at the racetrack? Is it possible for a one-stop strategy? Well, the weather, track temperature is 39 degrees, so that's gone up 4 degrees since I started streaming, and it's gone up slightly, but nonetheless, even with 45 degrees track temperature, it's most likely a one-stop is the best way to go forward. And air temperature 20 degrees, so overheating won't be too big of an issue for the drivers. And the chance of rain declared by the FIA is 20%. However, if you check the weather, I'm certain that the chance of rain is lower. So keep an eye out for that. There are clouds about, but they don't look particularly like rain clouds. They just look like the ordinary clouds that you'll see with the blue sky. And so the weather seems all right as expected. Normally in Mexico City we have pretty good weather, and all right. What else have we got to talk about? Well, we've got the Mercs to talk about. We saw this from Toto Wolff yesterday. I think he said in one of the interviews that they are under threat of going over the budget cap because Kimi Antonelli had a crash at Monza, Russell had a crash this weekend, Hamilton had a crash last weekend, and Mercedes hadn't taken that into account in their sort of budgeting strategy. Mercedes have got 1,200 engineers working for them, and well, they have to pay these engineers, don't they? And they have to pay these engineers, they have to pay for all of the parts to be manufactured and they have to pay for the raw materials and the machinery and the CFD software, and there's a lot of expenses running a Formula One team. But what I'm saying is Mercedes did not correctly account for how much damage that they would have within crashes, and they are potentially at risk of going over the budget cap. So I think what would happen in this sort of scenario, let's just say both Russell and Hamilton, DNF today, both of them crash, and they damage, the front wing and the rear of the car. They somehow manage to damage the front and the rear of the car. Then I think what Mercedes would do is they would have to revert back to older spec versions of the car. They would have to downgrade their car essentially, because they wouldn't be allowed to manufacture more parts because it would push them over the cost cap. So a very tricky scenario down at Mercedes. They've got to be careful. I mean, the drivers already have enough pressure on them to say, all right, don't crash the car. Don't bin it into the barriers, please. And on top of that now, they've got the one extra thing of if you crash, then there's the risk of you're going to have to downgrade your car till the end of the season, which is... well, that's going to be very, very annoying for the Mercedes team. They aren't really fighting in many Constructors' Championships. Ferrari is way ahead of them. And I think the team in 5th position, which is, let me just check, which is Aston Martin, are they're 200 points behind them. So it's not really a big issue for Mercedes if they do have to downgrade to older parts. It just makes them look a little silly that they didn't take into account all of the potential crashes that could happen. I don't know what the penalty is for going over the budget, actually. Yeah, I don't know, because the only thing that we have ever seen of any team going over the budget was Red Bull and their catering fiasco. They spent more money than the budget cap, but they only spent it on catering, so it's fine or something like that. So I'm not actually sure why what the penalty would be, but I'm sure the penalty would just be more fines and maybe loss of constructors points. Maybe that's it. If you go if you go 2 million over the constructors over the budget cap, then you lose 20 points or something like that. But I'm not 100% sure. So yeah. Are the radios on screen from the engineers or the drivers, or only the engineers? The radios on the screen are from both of them. It won't say, is it from the driver or is it from the engineer? You just kind of have to read it and guess. So if I just move the countdown timer on the screen, then as you can see, radio check Carlos, can you hear me? And then the next thing is you're good, you're loud and clear. So obviously, I think it's the engineer saying, radio check Carlos, can you hear me? And then the next one is, you're good, loud and clear. So, yeah, you just kind of have to figure it out. But the team radios are the communications between both the drivers and the engineers. What position do you think Leclerc will finish? Maybe, I think he's going to finish on the podium. That's what I'm going to expect. Right. The person on pole never has a slipstream, so how does that work for Mexico, though? Quite often what we see is the driver on pole sometimes ends up losing the lead going into turn number 1, but it's also been seen that even if they do get a good start, they can just manage to hold on going into turn number 1. It's very, very marginal, and they've got to be super late on the brakes and totally on it, but it is possible for them to still maintain the lead. It's not like, you start in first position, you're definitely going to end up in third. There is still a chance that they can hold on to the lead. It all depends on, if Verstappen gets a slow start, then Sainz has a much better chance of retaining the lead into turn number 1. If Verstappen gets a great start and Sainz has a bad start, then the chances get much, much smaller. So, yeah. All right. F1 Gamer, who do you think will win, and who do you want to win, and what are your predictions? Well, I'm not particularly supporting anyone. As a commentator, I'm unbiased, but I'm looking forward to some fantastic racing between the top 4 or 5 drivers. And who do I think is going to win? I'm going to say one of the Ferrari drivers. I don't know. Is it going to be Sainz? Is it going to be Leclerc? I think the Ferraris have fantastic race pace, so they're my best bet to win. All right. So here we are now, 5 minutes away from the start of the race. Just to reiterate, folks, anyone that has just tuned in, the best strategy for today is going to be starting the race on the medium tyres, then switching on to the hard tyres. Just a one-stop strategy. However, last year we did see if the safety car comes out, you're much better off doing a 2-stop. Max did start the race on the mediums, then go on to the hards. After the safety car come out, he came into the pits and put on another set of hard tyres. So yeah, that's a strategy around Mexico City. You can start the race on the hard tyres, then go on to the mediums as a bit of an alternate strategy. And of course, there is a pretty high chance of a virtual safety car around here. I think 84% is what I said earlier, 84, 87%, something like that. Chance of a virtual safety car, 43% chance of a safety car. And the drivers lose 22 seconds in the pit lane under normal green flag conditions. They lose 12 seconds in the pit lane under virtual safety car or safety car conditions. So 10 seconds that the drivers will gain if they do pit under the safety car or the virtual safety car. Yeah. F1 Gamer, do you think Haas is getting good? Indeed so. Haas have got 200 employees, engineers, HR, designers, mechanics, technicians, the whole lot, right? Haas have got 200 engineers, Mercedes have got 1,200, and still Haas is able to deliver, and they're looking like they're the fifth fastest car in the grid as of now. So, yeah, Haas are doing great, really. All right. In the ticker says right to review. In the ticker says right to review, which was rejected. Yeah, the right to review thing, they submitted it and they got immediately rejected. Because the FIA. Well, the FIA don't care. I mean, to be fair, the right to review request was a little bit pointless because there was no new evidence, and the only time that you are meant to suggest, put in a right to review is when there is more evidence presented. So yeah, it was a little bit pointless. All right. But 3 minutes now. We've got the radios coming through on the right hand side. Everyone's saying, radio checks and formation laps and things like that, and we'll be underway very, very shortly. But here we are now at round number 20 of 24 of the 2024 Formula 1 season. Oh, look at that, round number 20 of 24 in the 2024 Formula 1 season. It's funny how that lines up. I mean, there's only one race that it will line up on, but yeah, here we are at Mexico City. The circuit is 4.3 kilometers long. We're going to have 71 laps of racing around here. The top speeds the drivers have reached at the circuit, 364.9 kilometers an hour. That was Valtteri Bottas getting a nice slipstream in 2016, coming down the main straight that gave him that highest top speed record. The tyres that we've got from the Pirelli range are the C5, the C4 and the C3 for the soft, medium and hard respectively, the softest that Pirelli have to offer around this low degradation circuit. And 3 DRS zones should make for some fantastic overtaking. We've just had the tyre information pop through on screen, and look at that, everyone in the top 11 is starting the race on the mediums, then Lawson is on the hards, Bottas, Colapinto, Perez, Zhou and Ocon are on the hard tyres. Everyone else is on the mediums. So we've got around 2/3 of the grids on the mediums and 1/3 of the grid on the hard tyres. All right. So this is our starting grid. We are 2 minutes away from the formation lap. Let's go from the bottom up. We've got Esteban Ocon starting from the pit lane after changing some power unit components after qualifying. I think he replaced his battery and something else as well. So he's going to be starting from the pit lane because he changed his power unit components. Zhou in 19th position had a bit of a bad quali and he was got knocked out of Q1. In fact, he's got the most Q1 eliminations out of any driver this season. Sergio Perez at his home Grand Prix had a shocker of a qualifying session and ended up in 18th position. He's got a lot of ground to make up today if he's going to please his home fans. We've got Oscar Piastri in 17th position after getting his lap time deleted for exceeding track limits at turn number 12 and ruining his final sector because of it. He ended up out in Q1. Colapinto has been doing well in recent weeks, but this time he loses to Alex Albon and gets knocked out in Q1. Bottas made it through into Q2, a fantastic lap from him, and made it through into 15th position. We've got the two Aston Martins in 13th and 14th, both starting on the medium tyres. Alonso ever so slightly ahead of Stroll, and that is, well, to be expected, of course. We have got Tsunoda in 11th position and Lawson in 12th. Tsunoda having a crash yesterday in qualifying and ending the Q2 session early, but no damage, no significant damage to his car. The parts got replaced, and he's starting from 11th position. We've got Liam Lawson in 12th. He's starting on the hard, so split strategy for the Racing Bulls duo. And then we've got Kevin Magnussen in the Haas in 10th place, Alex Albon in the Williams in 9th position. Both drivers had a fantastic qualifying. Somehow Alpine have managed to drag that, somehow Gasly has managed to drag that Alpine up into 8th position. The Alpine, which is 15 horsepower down compared to every other car on the grid, is still been dragged up into 8th place by Pierre Gasly. A sensational lap from him in quali to make it through into Q3. And then we have Kevin Magnussen, the second Haas car, that made it through into Q3 as well. All right, the race is the formation lap is getting underway in 15 seconds, as you can see there on the right hand side of the screen. 10 seconds now, and the drivers will be ready to go for some racing. All right, K-Mag in K-Mag's in 7th position, not 10th, apologies for that. And then, we've got Russell in 5th position, Hamilton in 6th, Charles Leclerc starting in 4th, where he won from in Monaco and where he won from in Austin. So things are looking on the up for him. Lando Norris in 3rd place after having a bit of a bad qualifying session yesterday. And then we have Max Verstappen in 2nd position. And Carlos Sainz in 1st. What a qualifying session we had yesterday, but today's race is going to be even better. 71 laps of racing around the Mexican Grand Prix circuit. We have 71 laps to complete today, and the drivers are going for their first circuit of the lap under formation lap conditions. Everyone weaving around left, right, and centre, getting those brake temperatures up, getting those tyre temperatures up, given that they're going to have 700 metres coming off the start-finish line towards the braking zone of turn number 1. They are going to have to build as much tyre temperature as possible before they lose all of it all over again. And before they lose all of it going into turn number 1, they're going to be very careful to bring those brake temperatures up very, very high, so they don't lock up going into turn number 1 if their brakes are too cold. They're just doing the final couple of burnouts, clutch dumps here and there, and we're going to be ready to do some racing. Who do you think will win? I'm going to put my bets on one of the Ferrari drivers. I don't know. I don't know which one, but I'm going to say one of the Ferrari drivers. Yeah. Right. So here comes Carlos Sainz out of the final corner, and he's making his way to the grid now. Also, apologies, folks. I'm just going to have to pause the data for a slight second here. I just need to sync up what I'm watching on my side of the screen with what's going on in the race. So let me just sync that up nicely. So the data is just going to freeze for a second while I get everything synced up, because otherwise my Sky Sports feed is going to be 10 seconds ahead of what's on the screen, and I'm going to start commentating when the race for you hasn't actually begun. So yeah, once that's synced up, everything will resume. There we go. All right, very nice. And we've got the final couple of drivers approaching their grid positions. Very, very nice. Okay. Let me know what your predictions are. We are here for a fantastic Grand Prix. We've got Esteban Ocon starting from the pit lane. Archie Sherlock, thank you for the donation. Lando to get a good start. Well, if they underfuel their car like they did in the US Grand Prix last weekend, then it's going to be fantastic for them. Only time will tell what actually happens, and only a matter of seconds now till we get underway. Guanyu Zhou, the final car approaching the grid. He does his final burnout. He lines up on his grid position, and the marshal at the back of the grid, he's waving his green flag. It is 1, it is 2, it is 3, 4, 5. The lights are out, and we are racing, folks. Carlos Sainz gets a great start, already looking to cover off Max Verstappen, but Verstappen gets an even better start. They are side by side going down the main straight, and Lando Norris is boxed in. He can't get past either of the drivers. Charles Leclerc's on the outside there, too wide. Oh, and there's a spin at the back. Someone's gone off already. The yellow flag's out, and someone's cut the corner as well. Who's missed the corner there? Carlos Sainz has missed the corner and gone straight on. Is it Tsunoda that's crashed there? Tsunoda has had a big spin. Sainz gives back the position. That is a very good choice there from Sainz, otherwise he'd have a 5-second penalty coming his way. And Verstappen is the new race leader. Tsunoda's had a spin. He's stuck there on the side of the circuit. Surely they're going to have to deploy a virtual safety car for this. And yeah, they make their way through the middle sector. Max Verstappen still leading 8/10 ahead of Carlos Sainz. DRS will be enabled on the following lap. And Alex Albon going slowly as well. It looks like Albon and Tsunoda had a crash. Safety car's out, folks. Safety car is out. And they're going to have to sort this out between in the next couple of laps. Albon and Tsunoda both stopped on the circuit. And Tsunoda getting spun around going into turn number 1. I have a feeling that Albon may have touched him if Albon's also sat out as well. Those two incidents must be related. The medical car's already gone and picked up Tsunoda, and he's already out of the car. Alex Albon, Alex Albon's just parked up at the side of the road. Is that a crash, or is that, or is he just parked up? It seems like he's parked up on the side of the road. Maybe he's got a puncture. Maybe he's had an engine issue. Right, let's have a look. So watching the replay here, Yuki Tsunoda. He is braking. Ooh, contact there. He gets onto the brakes, gets contact from, I think, behind. Yeah, contact from behind. Has his rear right tire totally ripped off, and I think it was contact from Alex Albon. I'm not 100% certain here. I need the replay from Alex Albon's side before I can confirm, but yeah, any of the drivers doing a one-stop, they're going to be extremely pleased about this, because, and any driver that underfueled the car as well, they're also going to be quite happy because, well, they can save all of their fuel under the safety car, and it's not going to be too big of an issue. Right, folks, I forgot to mention Sergio Perez had a fantastic race start. Started the race in 18th place, jumped Piastri, jumped Bottas, Zhou, Colapinto, and is up into 13th place. 5 positions gained off the race start. Fantastic for Perez. Tsunoda had a crash right next to the escape road, so there's a tractor already there, or a crane already there. They've picked up his car. Albon also is parked up next to escape road, and it should not be long before his car is also picked up. Right, quite an exciting start there. Yeah, quite incredible, to be honest. So much action has gone on. Okay. Yeah, and one of the tractors or the cranes has made its way to Alex Albon's car as well. The safety car is pushing all the way to the limit. You can see Bernd Mailander pushing that Aston Martin as quickly as he possibly can. But Verstappen will be getting impatient at the back of behind the safety car here. He knows how to get a good restart off here. He's done it before, and now Sainz will be looking to pounce when the restart does happen. All right, thank you everyone for tuning in. By the way, we've got 21,000 people tuning in. That is sensational, ridiculous, really. 21,000 people. That's like half a football stadium. But yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in, and thank you everyone for subscribing as well. Incident involving false start. Perez noted. Oh yeah. Ooh no. Oh no. Sergio Perez has had his incident noted for a false start. So I'm going to watch the replay soon enough when it comes through, but that might be a 5-second penalty, a 10-second penalty. It might be a stop-go. It all depends on how severe that jump start was from Sergio Perez. He could have just got very lucky, but I don't know. All right, I've just got the replay here. I don't think it was Albon's fault, really. The drivers were just so close to each other, and well, what the real thing? I think what exactly happened, if I'm going to be totally honest with you, because the rear of the cars are ever so slightly wider than the front of the cars, because the rear tires are. I think the rear tires are a couple centimeters or so wider than the front tires. Tsunoda overtook Albon, and from his perspective, everything was going fine. But because the rear of his car is ever so slightly wider than the front of his car, he clipped Albon's front left suspension, and his car went out of control because his rear tire got ripped off, and Albon's front left suspension got broken. So a very slight misjudgment there from Yuki Tsunoda as he tried to overtake Alex Albon round the outside, and that's what caused the issue. Right. Albon is not beating the competitive teammate allegations. Yeah, I mean, F1 Gamer, do you think you were able to bring back the places gained / lost stats? I think it was quite good. I won't be able to do it right now. I will probably get it back for the next weekend. But for now, I'm the only one that's got access to it because it's kind of covered up off the side of the screen for you guys. But I will keep you updated on any sort of important drivers that have gained a bunch of positions. But no, Zhou's gained 3 places, but that's because 2 drivers behind him have DNF'd, and Perez has gained 5. But if we also look into that, Albon and Tsunoda were both ahead of him, who also DNF'd. So it was only 3 positions gained for Perez, but nonetheless, a good race start either way. Are you going to be streaming all the races? Yes, I am. I'm going to be streaming the rest of the races till the end of the season and doing all of next season as well. Perez is under investigation, folks, for a false start. It was noted, and now it's under investigation. I've just got the replay here. What has happened? Oh, I think Tsunoda's... I think Perez... lined up too far ahead of his grid slot. So there's a rectangle that you're meant to park your car in between, and I think Perez just parked his car a little bit too far forward of the rectangle, and I don't think it was the start. I think it was, false as in he started maybe 30 centimeters, 40 centimeters too far ahead of where he should have been. So, yeah, Perez needs parking lessons, maybe. Yeah, right. Actually, you know what? I might be able to change this while it's going on. Let's just give me a second here. I might be able to change it. Here we go. Apologies for what's going on the screen here. I'm just sorting out. I think this is going to pop up on the right-hand side. There you go. Oh, okay, it's just ever so slightly off the edge of the screen. Let me fix that. There you go, folks. Any of you asking for the positions gained / positions lost, it's up there on the right-hand side of the data. All right, but we're still under virtual safety. We're still under full safety car conditions. The safety car is still not in this lap. They're doing the final couple of checks to the barriers for, I think, Tsunoda, and they'll be taking Albon's car and all of the debris associated with the crash as well. They'll be taking all of that off the circuit before we get going again. But we're still on lap number 4 now of 7, and we're going on to lap number 5 of 7. There we go, as Verstappen comes across the line. Okay. Here we go. We've got 23,000 people watching. Thank you everyone for tuning in. The marshals are just there on the at the entry of turn number 1 there, sweeping all the debris of the circuit. And, thanks to their hard work, we'll be going racing probably next lap or the lap after that. So not very long now till we get underway. Okay. Oh, they're still moving Alex Albon's car around on the crane. They've just picked it up now. And the marshals are just balancing it as the crane now reverses into the escape road. Okay. Very nice. Safety car should be in this lap. If it's not in this lap, it'll be in the next lap. Not too big of a deal. Right, can you commentate like Crofty? I think I commentate like Crofty most of the time, no? My accent's pretty British, and... yeah. I think Science has just come over the radio saying his water bottle is spilling everywhere. Not ideal. When he's weaving around left and right, the water just comes dripping out. But yeah, I mean, the Science is gonna have to get that sorted. In fact, he won't have to get it sorted. The water bottle will run out pretty quickly. Yeah. Right, let's see what investigation happens for Sergio Perez. They've investigated turn number 1, lap 1, and no penalty has been given to Sainz or Verstappen. No penalty has been given to Albon or Tsunoda since both of them are out anyway. However, Sergio Perez has been given a 5-second time penalty for doing a false start. He started probably 30-40 centimeters too far ahead of his grid slot, and because of that, a 5-place grid penalty has been sent his way. Sergio Perez's dad doesn't look particularly happy with that, but of course, those are the rules, and Perez did make a small mistake, and he has to be penalized for it. Yeah. All right. But to be fair, like the fact that he's gained 3 positions anyway probably outweighs the 5-second time penalty that he's been given, because he would have been stuck behind Joe, Bottas, and Colapinto for at least 3 laps if he had to overtake them under normal conditions. And because he didn't have to overtake them under normal conditions, those 5 seconds should probably help him out in the long run. Yeah. Alright, hi, I just came, was it safety car? Those laps are slow? Yeah, the safety car is out, as you can see on the circuit. Safety car is in this lap, folks. We've just got the message from race control. Safety car in this lap. So we've got a restart, folks. We have got a restart. Max Verstappen versus Carlos Sainz versus a 1 kilometer long straight. This is going to be sensational. I have a feeling here, if Carlos Sainz can nail this restart, just start accelerating as soon as Verstappen does, or within a split second of Verstappen, he's going to get a fantastic launch out at this final corner, and well, he's going to have a great shot of regaining the lead back into turn number 1. All right. DRS is not enabled, folks. DRS is disabled when the safety car is out. The DRS will be re-enabled on the following lap, but for now, the safety car is heading towards the pits. Max Verstappen is backing everyone up, and we're here on lap number 6 of 71 for a race restart. Max Verstappen is crawling around now. The green flag is out. The safety car is in, and Verstappen has gone. He's just rounded out the stadium section and foot flat to the floor, and here he goes down the main straight, and then Carlos Sainz is right on his tail. Verstappen is weaving already. He knows what he's got to do to keep this race lead, and Carlos Sainz has missed it ever so slightly, but he's gaining. There's still enough straight left, and he's within 1 car length at the braking zone. 1 car length. It was very, very close there. However, there's always the next corners, the next couple of corners. Turn number 4 as well. Verstappen, he gets a good exit out of the main straight, and Carlos Sainz is right on his tail. In fact, Charles Leclerc is all over the back of Lando Norris. Leclerc got a great restart. Lando Norris did not. Leclerc purple in the first sector as well. And Leclerc is pushing Norris all the way. We're only on lap number 7. We've had 2 laps of racing. And Norris is under pressure from the second Ferrari. Here we go then. We've got 25,000 people tuning into the live stream. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We're getting so close to our like target, so close to our subscriber target. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. But let's get back to this race. We've got Verstappen, 1.2 seconds in the lead. He's already broken DRS. This is some sensational driving from Verstappen. Look at that middle sector, purple, and he's 0.6 quicker than Sainz. Incredible pace from Verstappen on this restart lap. And look at that gap, 1.1 seconds. That is just a little bit too far behind for Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz purple in the final sector, trying to close that gap up, but he was 56 milliseconds off getting DRS from Verstappen, and those 56 milliseconds could cost him very, very dearly on the next couple of laps. So let's wait and see. DRS will be enabled on the following lap, folks. So the track is clear and we've got the green flag conditions, but DRS is only going to be enabled on the next lap. So lap number 9 of 71 is when DRS will be open. And in fact, apologies for that. DRS is already enabled. It's just been enabled now. And going down between turn number 11 and 12 is when DRS will be active for all of the drivers. Okay. And let's have a look at that gap. Norris has lost DRS to Sainz, and Sainz is still within DRS to Verstappen. Sainz has managed to pull it back. I must have deployed a bit of his battery coming down the straight, or maybe he got a bit of a slipstream, but he's got DRS here as he now heads towards turn number 12. Very nicely done there from Carlos Sainz. And well, this is going to help him. We're going to have a fight for first and second place, and we're going to have a fight for third and fourth place as well. We've got Sergio Perez right on the tail of Fernando Alonso here, trying to squeeze past the Spaniard driver. And let's see what Sergio Perez can do. He gets a very nice exit off the final corner, but there is a big old DRS train ahead of him, and that's going to make it very difficult to get an overtake done. Carlos Sainz looks to the inside. He gets the move done on Max Verstappen. He sends one in. Will Verstappen get the switch back as they go through turn number 2? It's clean. None of them cut the corner, and Carlos Sainz has the lead for now, but now they head towards turn number 4. Who has the DRS? It's Sainz. He's just nailed that overtake perfectly. He gets DRS on both overtaking zones, and Carlos Sainz is up into first place. Max Verstappen down into second on lap number 9 of 71. Great overtake there from Sainz. He sent one down the inside. He was gaining, and Verstappen, I don't think, expected it, and there was nothing he can do. By the time he realised that Sainz was down his inside, it was far too late to get an overtake done. Yeah, Verstappen looked like he was recharging his battery just a little bit too early, coming down the main straight, and well, he's going to be complaining about that for sure. All right, very, very nice done. Very nicely done by Carlos Sainz. Fantastic job there. All right, we've hit our like goal. Let's just pop that up to 4,000 likes because we've got a very long race ahead of us, and we're getting pretty close to 110k subs as well. Oh, Verstappen, yeah, immediately, mate, what can I do with an empty battery? What is this stupid mode? Verstappen's battery started clipping. Norris is, in fact, attacking him now. So let me just, clarify what's going on here. Verstappen hasn't got an empty battery. What has happened is that once you get to the end of the straight, the GPS system isn't 100% accurate, and because of the safety car race, Norris goes round the outside of Max Verstappen. Wow, Verstappen pushes him off the road exactly like he did in Austin, and Norris, does he give back the position to Verstappen, or is he going to get another 5-second penalty again? I don't know what's going on here, but Norris is side by side into 10, and both of them off the circuit. Leclerc's up into second. It's a Ferrari 1-2, and Verstappen and Norris are fighting once again. This is fantastic. And wow, okay, this is all elbows are out here, and Verstappen is, Verstappen sacrificed that second place. He's given it to Leclerc. The Ferrari's going to be running away with this. Norris is not happy. He's already over the radio complaining, and this is just the US Grand Prix round 2. All right, Norris is saying, I was ahead at the apex, blah, he can't push me off, and it's 2 different incidents now, 2 separate incidents. We were pushed off twice, and they're going to be complaining to the FIA ASAP, but now coming down the main straight, Lando Norris has got the Mercedes behind him to worry about. Wow, okay, yeah, look at this. Yep, he overtook me off the track, pushed me off the track. So that's what they're saying. Let's see what happens. Will the FIA be able to rectify their mistakes? I don't know if they really made that many mistakes last weekend. It was a bit of a questionable decision by the FIA to give out a penalty, but I don't know. Verstappen, he did push Norris off the road. Verstappen was still on the circuit. Norris was not on the circuit. Wow, this is honestly, I'm gonna love it, and the social media discourse around this is going to be fantastic as well. We've just hit 110k subscribers, which is incredible. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and thank you everyone for subscribing as well. I've got a community post coming out with my silver play button. It arrived a couple of weeks ago, so that'll come out once the stream is finished. And the McLaren fans are not happy, and they are complaining about what's going on here as well. But we're on lap number 11, and if we look at the gaps there, Norris does have DRS on Verstappen, but that gap is 1 second. 1 second, and that's not going to be enough to overtake him as he comes down the main straight. So just to clarify what happened with Verstappen, his car thought that he had reached the end of the straight, so the car needs to know where it is approximately on the circuit, so it knows, oh, do I go into recharging mode or do I go into energy deployment mode? And because of the safety car, the sync of this, the sync of the recharge system and the deployment system wasn't perfect, and it thought Verstappen had already reached the end of the straight when in fact he still had another 200 meters left to go. So because of that, it started recharging the battery, and he suddenly started slowing down, and Carlos Sainz saw that and sent one down the inside, and the overtake was complete. So it wasn't even Verstappen's fault; it was his car's fault, really. It started going into energy recovery mode. You could see it on the back of his car. The lights were started flashing because when the lights flash on the car, that means it's recovering energy. But it was recovering energy far too early in the straight, and Sainz got the overtake done. I mean, Red Bull have had this issue quite a few times. We've seen Verstappen complain about this so much in Austria, in Belgium, and in Baku. Quite often we've seen Verstappen complain about this. So Red Bull still haven't got this fixed, and they've had to pay the price this weekend. But it's looking like it's a Ferrari 1-2 for now. It's the fastest lap of the race for Charles Leclerc. He's 1.1 seconds behind his teammate, and Leclerc is catching up to Sainz. The gap was 2 seconds when Leclerc got past Verstappen. It's now just dipped under 1 second, and what can I say? We're going to have a scrap back at the front between the two Ferrari drivers. That is going to be very exciting. Someone has just asked what is happening to Piastri. He can't get past Bottas. He just gets that overtake done now, going down into turn number 1. So Piastri's got that one done and gets ahead of Bottas. Perez managed to get ahead of both Alonso and Stroll. So Perez now up into 11th place. It's lap number 13. And he started in 18th position. He's now up into 11th. 7 places gained for Sergio Perez, and a fantastic drive so far. And if he can get up there into potentially a podium, potentially just even the top 5, I'm sure his fans will be very happy for him, considering the season he has had so far. All right. Yeah, Verstappen, though, I think Verstappen, on his second re-overtake of Norris, that was just stupidly aggressive. I don't know what he did there, because Norris was still ahead. He gave the position to Leclerc. He didn't give it to Max, but Max just came steaming down the inside. And Max has been given a 10-second penalty, folks. A 10-second time penalty for Max Verstappen for forcing a driver off the circuit. That was not for the initial overtake. The initial overtake that Norris did, and Verstappen pushed him off, it was not for that. The next 10-second penalty was given for sending a move down the inside at turn number 7. He was far too far behind. He was never making the corner. In fact, he went off the circuit himself, and he got a 10-second penalty. So that is a fair penalty, folks. I know there'll be many Max Verstappen fans there who won't be particularly pleased, but no, Verstappen, I think, just got a little angry in the moment, and or maybe just misjudged his braking point. I don't know exactly what happened, but either way, a 10-second penalty has been given to him, and that was a fair penalty. Right. I mean, Verstappen's already over the radio to complain, but what can you do? All right, Charles Leclerc now, he's within DRS range of Carlos Sainz. He's 9/10 coming down through the stadium section, and we'll see what he can do. Is he going to have a fight with his teammate? All right, the two Mercedes as well. George Russell is right on Hamilton's tail. They swapped positions at the race start. Russell was ahead and Hamilton was behind, but now it's the other way around. And Russell now, he's got DRS on his teammate. He's gaining, and the Mercedes team are totally allowed to race. In fact, George Russell is the number 1 driver, but Hamilton goes all the way to the inside. Russell has to back out of it a little bit. He sweeps around the outside nonetheless, and I think Russell has got that overtake done very, very nicely. Wow. Fantastic overtake there for George Russell. Hamilton got extremely aggressive. I'm not sure exactly why, because he was fighting his teammate. But Russell up into 5th place. Hamilton down into 6th. All right. Here we go then. F1 Gamer, what was that 2010-2007 Kimi topic Ferrari fans have on Reddit that you mentioned yesterday? Oh yeah, folks. if any of you are Ferrari fans or just would like to be delusional, Kimi Raikkonen was the same number of points away from winning the 2007 championship as Charles Leclerc was winning the as Charles Leclerc is from winning the championship this year. So because of that, a lot of Ferrari fans are saying, oh, Charles Leclerc is going to win the championship this year because he's going to do exactly what Kimi Raikkonen did and win a bunch of races at the end of the season. And by the looks of it, Leclerc has just dropped off the back of Sainz. Sainz, in fact, came over the radio to complain, saying Leclerc's taking the piss here and just pushing a little bit too far, pushing his teammate a little bit too far. But Leclerc's dropped a little bit further back. But who knows? In the pit stops, Carlos Sainz is the driver that's leaving Ferrari. Charles Leclerc is their main driver. Are they going to switch the drivers around during the pit stops? Are they not? Only time will tell, and maybe we'll see another win from Charles Leclerc, and maybe he'll go on to win the championship. I'm not going to believe that, but of course, if you are a Leclerc fan, then go ahead and believe it. I mean, I would if I was a Leclerc fan. Alonso's just been told to retire the car. I don't know exactly what the issue is down at Aston Martin, but Alonso is out of this race. We've got 3 DNFs so far. We're only on lap number 16 of 71. All right, K-Mag. K-Mag is about to overtake Lewis Hamilton here. Going through the middle sector, K-Mag is only 7 tenths behind. And Hamilton, just on the previous lap, got overtaken by his teammate. And now Kevin Magnussen is giving him some company. This is going to get very, very exciting. All right. Yeah, very, very interesting here. All right. So Kevin Magnussen versus Lewis Hamilton. Let's see. I don't know what happened to Alonso. Albon and Tsunoda had a crash at the start of the race. That's why they're out. Alonso's 400th race start is out with a DNF, very unfortunately. But I'm sure he's not going to complain too much. He's had 399 other races that he's done well in. And K-Mag gets dangerously close to Lewis Hamilton, nose to tail as they go down the main straight into the braking zone. And well, Hamilton and now it's been a very long time. In fact, I don't think this has ever happened before, but Lewis Hamilton is looking in his mirrors, worrying about getting overtaken by a Haas. Sergio Perez is making some solid progress up. He's about to overtake Liam Lawson. Lawson takes to the inside, Sergio Perez to the outside. I mean, this is Liam Lawson's seat here, potentially at Red Bull, and he's defending against Sergio Perez. I don't know how well that's going to go down for Helmut Marko. You know, Helmut Marko is going to say, what are you doing? I mean, Perez is the leader, Red Bull driver. You should just let him go by, not fight too much. But Lawson's argument will be like, if I don't fight too much, then how are you going to know I'm a good driver? So Lawson's fighting against his, the driver that's potentially taking the seat that he wants. And K-Mag is doing some sensational driving that we might see an overtake come from in the next couple of laps. All right. I'll have a look into why Alonso retired. I'm not 100% certain, but let's see if I can get some sort of information. All right, here they go then. Liam Lawson versus Sergio Perez. Kevin Magnussen versus Lewis Hamilton. Magnussen is gaining at a ridiculous pace. He looks to the inside, but he's too far back on this occasion. Perez also looks to the inside of Lawson. He's a bit too far back, but coming down the next set of straights, this could be the prime opportunity for Sergio Perez as they now head towards the turn number 4 chicane, and Perez has got the DRS. He looks to the inside, looks to the outside, and he sends one down the inside. Lawson can do absolutely nothing about it, and the overtake was just like Verstappen and Norris. Lawson squeezes Perez off the road, and this is extremely hard racing, and there's a little bit of contact there. Perez is not going to be happy about that. He'll say that he's got pushed off the road, and to be fair, he did. However, Perez also pushed Lawson off the road, and wow. Perez is in 11th still, stuck behind Liam Lawson. In fact, he's got company from Lance Stroll behind him now. Great driving by Liam Lawson. And, I mean, Sergio Perez is going to be super annoyed about what he's... because... yeah, I mean, what can I say? Liam gave him a very good fight. He pushed him onto the dirty part of the circuit, and Perez is over the radio to complain. He's saying, what is this idiot doing? Is he okay? That's what Perez has just said. These radio battles are fantastic, folks. I mean, Perez is on hard tyres. Lawson is also on hard tyres, so ideally it should be Perez getting that overtake done. and he was about to get it done. Lawson pushed him onto the dirty part of the track, and he lost a whole bunch of time. And in fact, Stroll is now attacking Perez and tries to go around the outside. Perez defends the inside line. But going into turn number 4, Stroll is going to be right on his tail as they come through the DRS detection point. Stroll's got the DRS. He looks to the outside. Perez holds firm to the inside line. And will he be able to defend against Stroll? He does the exact same thing of what he did to Lawson, but this time Stroll goes over the grass. He loses far too much time, and Sergio Perez holds on to 11th position. Wow, very, very tight there. And both of the Red Bulls have done the exact same things. Wait, what? Verstappen has been given another 10-second penalty. What is the FIA doing? Am I checking this correctly? Yes, Verstappen has been given another 10-second penalty for leaving the track and gaining an advantage at turn number 8. So 20 seconds of penalties. Okay, right, look. See, the first penalty was deserved and it was fair, and this incident happened, I think, 10 laps ago now, more than 10 laps ago, and the FIA have just given him a penalty. I mean, I don't know what the FIA are thinking. Like, they did one good thing, I praised them about it, and they're just like, oh, we'll do it again, we'll get even more praise, and now they've just given him another 10-second penalty. The FIA are genuinely the most stupid organisation I've ever met, and I don't know what the stewards are thinking. Because, you know, the 10-second penalty was deserved. He did deserve a penalty. He did something wrong. He pushed a driver off the circuit. Fair enough. But giving him another 10-second penalty 10 laps later for something that he didn't even do wrong is, I mean, yeah, honestly. What is going on here? Oh, well. What can I say? And Perez versus Lawson is now under investigation. Oh, I feel, is this going to be another 10-second penalty coming to Sergio Perez? I mean, Lawson pushed him off the circuit, and then Perez pushed Lawson off the circuit. Both things happened. I don't think it's deserved to give either of the drivers a penalty. Yeah. I mean, the Norris fans are, you know, some Norris fans are happy, some Norris fans are just saying that this was stupid. The Verstappen's he was doing fine. Like, a 10-second penalty was more than enough, and now they've given him 20 seconds in total. That is a joke, if I'm being totally honest. Yeah. So there's that. They're currently under investigation here. Perez and Stroll is also under investigation. So Perez pushed Stroll off the circuit. So now they're going to... Oh my god, the stewards are genuinely... What are they doing, man? I've said this in many previous live streams when we have these sort of steward fiascos. Perez comes into the pits, 8.1 second pit stop for Sergio Perez. He must have got some damage there because they must have had to replace his front wing. Or a slow puncture, something like that's happened to Sergio Perez, and he's had to come in for a pit stop. But the stewards, right, they should have a system like in football, like in cricket, where they have a certain set of referees or umpires that are, you know, that their sole job is to just dish out penalties at the correct time and immediately. Whereas the stewards are random people that do motorsport occasionally, and they get picked, and they get given a bit of training, and then they give out their penalties like 5 laps after the thing has actually happened. It just makes no sense to me. So yeah, in an ideal world, the solution to this is have stewards that are, you know, specifically trained, and they attend every single Formula One race, and it's consistent because it's the same stewards doing it every time. And make sure that they give their penalties immediately within the next lap. Yeah. Oh yeah, look, Russell has just been told. So Verstappen now has a 20-second penalty, and Russell has just said, wow. That's all he said over the radio. No, nothing else. He's just said, wow. I mean, Russell is blown away by the fact, you know, normally from Russell you get a crikey or a blimey, but this time it's just a wow, just speechless. So, man, the FIA, what can you can't even make this up, can you? Is there any way to have the penalties on the screen? Unfortunately not. Verstappen will come into the pit and he'll serve a 10-second penalty. He will serve a 20-second penalty in the pit lane. So he's going to have to... his pit stop's going to be super long. Normally we see a 2.2-second pit stop from Red Bull. Probably this time we're going to see a 22-second pit stop from Red Bull. So, yeah. All right. F1 Gamer, you're just biased. Focus on commentating the actual race. Well, thank you for the feedback, but I'm sure from most of the people that are watching the live stream saying that I'm not particularly biased. In fact, I don't really care if Verstappen or Norris wins. I'm just here to enjoy the action between them. And in fact, Norris is trying to overtake Verstappen once again. 1 second is the gap between Norris and Verstappen. And, we're going to have another battle coming. Are we going to get more penalties dished out? That's going to be, that'll be fantastic if that happens. It'll be fantastic to see some more, Norris coming over the radio saying, oh, he pushed me off the circuit, that's not allowed. And, all right. So, here we go then. And in fact, there isn't that much racing going on, to be honest. If you look at the gaps, every single driver, Piastri is about to overtake Stroll, and Ocon is about to overtake Zhou. And apart from that, there isn't that much going on the circuit. We're just coming up to the pit stop windows around about lap number 30 or so. That's when the pit stops will start coming through. Can you show us the penalties of all the drivers? In fact, that's why Perez had an 8.1 second pit stop, because Perez had to serve a 5-second time penalty. Perez didn't have a slow pit stop, didn't have a puncture or a front wing damage. He had to serve his 5-second time penalty from the start of the race, which he has now. So the only penalties that have been given out, folks, 20 seconds for Max Verstappen, 5 seconds for Sergio Perez. Perez has served his 5-second time penalty in the pit lane. Max Verstappen is still yet to serve any sort of penalties because he still hasn't come into the pits yet. All right. So the pit stop window, for any drivers that started the race on the medium tyres, you will pit around about lap number 29. So if anyone wants to try and pull off an undercut, now is the time to start pitting. Perez started the race on the hard tyres. He's now coming onto the mediums. I don't know exactly why he's done that, because the hard tyres should have done at least 40 laps. But... yeah, I guess if he's got clean air now, look at that. He's got a whole main straight worth of clean air. So he can now just set in some really good, consistent lap times. Hope there's maybe a safety car that can bring him back into the race. All right. Here we go then, lap number 24 of 71, and we have got Piastri. He got ahead of Stroll. Not too big of an issue there for Piastri. He's made some solid progress. Started in 17th up into 11th. Admittedly, there have been a couple DNFs ahead of him, but now he's onto the back of Lawson, who fought very well. He's actually 6 seconds off the back of Lawson, so he's got a bit of catching up to do before he can start going for overtakes. Okay. Yeah, 100% to make up for the lack of penalty from the last race. It's the way to fix the controversy. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the FIA, obviously, maybe there should have been a penalty. I think what they did last race was kind of fair, but Max exploited a grey area in the rules, which the FIA weren't happy about. So now, because he exploited a grey area in the rules, they're going to give him a 20-second penalty. Okay. Oh, did Perez have a puncture? Okay, well, that explains his early pit stop, and that also explains why he had a long pit stop. His long pit stop was because of a 5-second time penalty, and yeah. All right, Verstappen's coming over the radio saying, my tyres are not holding on, guys, it's getting bad. And as he says that, Lando Norris is within DRS range. Very, very exciting. Okay. Felix, he got penalties because of his dangerous intent. Max clearly wasn't trying to drive fairly and safely, punishing the dangerous driving necessary. Yes, I totally agree with you. And he got penalised for a 10-second time penalty for doing exactly that. However, the second 10-second time penalty was pointless. All right, but let's just put the penalties aside. We've got Max Verstappen versus Lando Norris on the circuit right now. They're going down the main straight up to 350 kilometers per hour. Norris darts to the inside and Verstappen holds his line. He knows that Norris wasn't going to be able to get that dive done. And Verstappen now, he takes a very wide line to get a good exit out of turn number 3. And now it's once again DRS City for Lando Norris. He's gaining Norris looks to the inside line, but he's too far back. He gets too bad of an exit. Verstappen had a fantastic exit out of turn number 3 and managed to hold on to his third place for now. All right. Okie dokes. I'm going to have a quick sip of water, and thank you everyone for hitting the like button. Thank you everyone for subscribing. Very much is appreciated. And yeah, we've got a fantastic race on our hands here. Lando Norris versus Verstappen on the circuit, lap number 26 of 71. All right, they've told Max Verstappen to come into the pits. Does he come into the pits? Yes, he does. All right, Verstappen comes into the pit lane. Exoteric, $10 donation. What's up, F1 Gamer? I just got off the plane and tuned in. Can you fit in a recap somewhere for us late joiners? All right, so a recap off the race start. Albon and Tsunoda had a bit of a crash. Both drivers ended up DNFing. We had a safety car because of that. Alonso also retired for unknown reasons. I couldn't figure out why. Then we had a squabble between Norris and Verstappen. Verstappen pulled the exact same thing like last weekend and pushed him off the circuit. And then also, the other thing that he did was at turn number 7, he sent a huge dive bomb, which was totally unnecessary, unsafe probably as well. And he pushed himself and Norris off the circuit. So he was given a 10-second time penalty for the, doing the unsafe dive bomb and going off the circuit and pushing Norris off the circuit as well. And then he was also given a 10-second time penalty for the other thing as well, which was stupid because the 10-second time penalty was, I thought it was meant to be 2 combined 5-second time penalties. Yeah. Verstappen comes out of the pit lane with a 24-second pit stop. He spends 44 seconds in the pit lane in total, and he comes out alongside his teammate Sergio Perez. Look at that. Perez in 16th, Verstappen in 15th. This has been a bad weekend for Max Verstappen, and now he's got a lot of hard work to do to make his way back through the pack. The 2 Ferraris are in the lead. It is currently a Ferrari 1-2. The McLarens of Lando Norris does not look like he can compete. We've got Piastri in 10th position. He's made some good progress. Oh, Exoteric, thank you for the gifted donations. Very much is appreciated. Yeah, thank you very much. And what was I going to say? Yeah, Norris doesn't look like he has enough pace to catch up with the Ferraris. Okie dokes. We are on lap number 28 of 71. Any drivers that pitted on the start of the race on the medium tyres, they should be coming into the pits in the next couple of laps now. And yeah, we've in fact got the radio message here from Lewis, so I think +4 going to the hard. So they're looking to delay their pit stops a little bit because we did have a safety car, of course, for the first 5-6 laps of this race, which means that the drivers didn't push on those hot medium tyres for as long as they would have if it was normal racing conditions, and they can go a couple of extra laps before coming into the pits. All right. Here we go then. We have got 29,000 people watching. Thank you everyone for tuning into the coverage, folks. Hope you guys are enjoying, and be sure to hit the like button. It very much is appreciated. Okie dokes. So what else have we got going on in this race now? Lawson catching up to Gasly. We should have a good battle there between those 2 drivers. Gasly, of course, a former Red Bull driver, and then we've got Liam Lawson, a current Red Bull driver. Will be very exciting. Hamilton comes into the pits, 3.1 second pit stop for Lewis Hamilton, and we've got Pierre Gasly also diving into the pit lane as well. So that battle between himself and Lawson has been avoided. Okay. Right. Here we go then. We've got who else is coming into the pits? I don't think anyone else is actually coming into the pits on this lap. So yeah, everyone kind of spread out, to be honest. Verstappen is looking to catch up to Ocon. It should be a fairly straightforward overtake for him, but he's a little bit too far back on this occasion. He is on fresh tyres. Ocon's on old tyres. So yeah, should be nice and quick. The hard tyres should last around towards the end of the race. Pirelli said you can do 40 laps on them. So yeah, everyone who's pitted now for a fresh set of hards will probably go to the end of this race, unless there's a safety car. And if there's a safety car, they'll come in for an extra pit stop and put on another set of medium tyres. Most drivers don't actually have 2 sets of hards. They only have 1 set of hard tyres to go out to do some racing on. So yeah, if their safety car does come in, they will come in for a set of mediums. How long are the pit stops? The drivers lose 22 seconds in the pit lane under normal conditions, and under safety car conditions, they'll lose 12 seconds in the pit lane. Is it a 1-stop or a 2-stop? A 1-stop for sure, most likely. Track temperature is 39 degrees, so we're not going to have excessive tyre wear, and because of that, it will most likely be a 1-stop. Nico Hülkenberg comes into the pit lane, another driver off the mediums onto the hards. Max Verstappen gets the overtake done on Esteban Ocon, very nicely done. Fairly straightforward overtake for him. He's got 30-lap fresher tyres compared to the French driver, and he goes down the inside into turn number 1. All right, Verstappen, he's got DRS now. He's going to catch up to Valtteri Bottas very, very soon, and we'll be looking to catch up to Hamilton as well. He's got to overtake Hamilton pretty quick. I mean, he is fighting Hamilton for position right now, so once he catches up to Bottas and gets that overtake done, he will be fighting Hamilton, and Hamilton, I don't think he's going to fight too hard, but he knows that Verstappen is significantly quicker than him. Lando Norris comes into the pit lane now, and the jacks are up. The jacks pick him up, put on a set of hard tyres, and Norris comes out of the pits. 2.3 second pit stop for Lando Norris. Very nice. And now if we look at the gap, as Norris comes out of the pits, we'll just look at the gap that Max Verstappen will have to catch up if he wants to get to the end, if he wants to get ahead of Norris by the end of this Grand Prix. So Norris is, as he comes out of the pits, 14 seconds behind the leaders. He is 37 seconds behind the leaders in total. Max Verstappen is 54 seconds behind the leaders. So Verstappen sets a fast lap of the race. He's got a lot of pace here. Robert Tape, thank you for the donation. How hard is Hamilton wishing this season would end already? Yeah, Hamilton's wishing it pretty hard, because it looks like Ferrari are the fastest car in terms of race pace on Sundays, and Hamilton's going to Ferrari next year, so I'm sure Hamilton's wishing that the season ends ASAP. So just to get back to the point of how much Verstappen's going to catch up, he's got to catch up 18 seconds over the course of the next 40 laps, so he's got to catch up half a second every single lap if he wants to beat Lando Norris. Which is going to be a very, very tough thing to do. But, if anyone can do it on this circuit, then it's going to be Max Verstappen. I mean, yeah, it would be Max Verstappen in terms of a driver. I don't think the Red Bull car is capable. However, we'll wait and see. Charles Leclerc dives into the pits, so 3.1 second for pit stop for Charles Leclerc. George Russell into the pits as well. That's a 2.8 second pit stop for George Russell. Very nice. And soon enough, we'll have Carlos Sainz coming into the pit lane as well. And look at this, Lando Norris, purple in the final sector. He's trying to get those hard tyres warmed up as soon as possible. All right, here we go then. Fastest lap of the race there from Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton is pushing, and he's pushing on his fresh tyres, trying to get them up into the temperature, and yeah. All right, that's it then. All right, oh yeah, and the FIA, I'd just like to clarify here, the FIA are being so inconsistent with their penalties, because Stroll and Perez had an exact duplicate scenario, right? Verstappen versus Norris and Perez versus Stroll. The exact same thing happened. Perez pushed Stroll off the circuit, exactly like Verstappen pushed Norris off the circuit. However, Perez doesn't get a penalty, and Verstappen did. Verstappen got a 10-second penalty for that. So I'm not a fan here of Verstappen, or I'm not a fan here of Sergio Perez. I'm just pointing out the inconsistencies of the FIA. Because the exact same scenario happened. Like, you can watch it back, and I'm sure it will be up on the replays as well, on the highlights. But the exact same situation, and the FIA gave a 10-second penalty to Verstappen for one, and a 0-second penalty for Perez to the other. It is, the most typical FIA thing that you've ever seen. We've got George Russell versus Oscar Piastri going down the main straight. Lawson is giving Piastri a bit of a tow here, and that's just going to help him out. Can Russell get the overtake done? Yes, he can. Russell is on the fresher tyres. Piastri's on 32-lap-old medium tyres, and he knows that there's no point fighting this battle because, it's a losing battle. It's a very, very uphill battle, steep uphill battle. Piastri's going to be coming into the pits very, very soon, so shortly, and when he does come into the pits, he'll come out, unfortunately, down in 15th position. Yeah. Russell's come over the radio asking, why have we done this? Surely we could have done 1 or 2 laps more. I see exactly where they're coming from. Russell has just been released into traffic. I mean, he has overtaken Lawson, he has overtaken Piastri, but they could have avoided that situation. Okay, Alonso's issue was reported to be brake cooling. Thank you for the info, Carabi Ibarra. Alonso had a brake issue, and, going down a main straight where you reach 350 kilometers an hour, if you've got a brake issue, you probably want to come into the pits. All right. Andre Guran, thank you for joining the YouTube member. Very much is appreciated. And thank you very, very much. In fact, I'm just going to give a shout out to all of my Patreon members. Let me just get the list of Patreon members up. We've got Stefan, Tomaha46, The Code Monster, Matt, Andrew Eastwood, Andrew N, Shush, Exoteric, Tragic Fun, Alfie, and AJ, and Giuseppe as well. Thank you everyone for being members to the Patreon, and it just helps out the channel a lot. As many of you guys are watching right now, we've got 30,000 people of you watching. I've disabled adverts, so you guys don't get any adverts when the streams are live, and the Patreon members really do help out the channel. All right, Oscar Piastri has just squabbled away with Lawson and Hamilton. In fact, Piastri gets ahead of Lawson, and Hamilton is still behind him. So Hamilton's still trying to overtake Piastri here. I mean, he's not fighting Piastri in any sort of way because Piastri is still yet to come into the pits. Hamilton isn't. However, they're still having a nice little squabble, and Piastri will come into the pits soon enough. Okay. Max needs to limit damage. Indeed, he does. That is the aim of the game for Verstappen on this race. Piastri is about to get overtaken by Hamilton as they come out the final corner now. Hamilton's got DRS. He's going to have a slipstream as well. And the gap is 0.6 of a second at the start of the straight. I suspect it's going to be 0.0 of a second by the time they reach the end of the straight. So here they go. Hamilton, he is chasing down Piastri. In fact, doesn't look like he's got the top speed, but he's got enough power on the brakes. He sends one to the inside. Piastri hasn't got the tyres to fight this one. And Hamilton is up into 5th position. Very nice. Okay. Verstappen, while it may be an almost impossible task to catch up to Lando Norris, it is not an impossible task to catch up to George Russell. George Russell currently in 4th position. If Norris finishes in 3rd and Verstappen finishes in 4th, it's not going to affect the championship in any sort of significant manner. So Verstappen's task will probably be to get up into 4th place by the end of this race. He's got to catch up to Russell, I think 8 seconds over the course of the next 36 laps. But of course, he will have to overtake Colapinto, Lawson, Hamilton, and Russell to get up into 4th place. Piastri is going to pit. In fact, Lawson and Colapinto are also going to pit. So Verstappen has only got 8 seconds to catch up to Russell, and that should be good enough for him to get 4th place, which is going to be, I think, the aim for him, given that he's been given 20 seconds of penalties. All right, Russell's come over the radio saying check the front wing. I think he, when he had a bit of a squabble with Piastri, he thought he might have clipped his front wing, so we'll just check that out. But I think Russell is doing fine for now. His lap times, he set personal best lap time on the previous lap, so he should be fine. Okay. All right. Thank you everyone for tuning in, by the way. And also, if you have any feedback on my commentary, then be sure to let me know. And, I try not to be biased. And as many of you may know that have watched the channel for a while, my favourite driver is Sebastian Vettel, who's no longer in the sport. If Vettel was driving and Vettel was given a penalty, I would be the most biased commentator that you've ever seen. However, Vettel's no longer in Formula 1. I'm not that biased, at least I don't think. So yeah, any other feedback? I think someone's saying that you can hear me swallowing. So I've tried to stop doing that and hold my mic a little further away. But yeah, here we are. We've reached the halfway point of this race, and we've got a Ferrari 1-2 with Lando Norris in third place. Okie dokes. What happened to Yuki and Alex? Has Max served his penalty yet? Okay, yeah, so Max has served his penalty. So Max has got 0 seconds of time penalties till the end of this race. Same thing for Sergio Perez. He has also got 0 seconds of time penalty. What happened between Albon and Tsunoda at the start of the race, as they were going down into turn number 1, Albon was in the middle, Tsunoda was on the left-hand side. Tsunoda was much later on the brakes compared to Albon, so he slammed onto the brakes and managed to overtake Albon in the braking zone. However, the rear of a Formula 1 car is slightly wider than the front of a Formula 1 car. Yuki Tsunoda didn't judge this fact correctly, and he clipped the rear of Alex Albon's car as he overtook him, and he spun around, and Alex Albon got damage to his car as well. So both drivers got out because of that. Oh, Giuseppe, thank you for the $5 donation. Best F1 live stream, very much is appreciated, buddy. And I see that Italian flag there, and I'm sure you'll be very happy about the two Ferraris being in the lead of this race. All right, folks. Also, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. In fact, there we go. We've hit 4,000 likes. Let's put that up to maybe 6,000. I'm not sure really. Let's just keep it going. Everyone give a fair commentary. We all have to swallow, ignore petty comments. Yeah, look into a pop filter. It helps against breathing into the mic and swallowing noises. Yeah, I should probably get a pop filter actually. My mic kind of has an inbuilt one, but it's not exactly perfect, so it might be a good idea to do that. Sometimes I do like to sort of add a little breathing sound effect though. After an amazing battle on the final lap of the race, a little bit of a breathing sound effect. And if there was a heartbeat sound effect as well, that'd be pretty awesome. But no, I don't have a heartbeat sound effect, but a little bit of breathing kind of just adds to the whole vibe of the thing. At least I think so. Maybe not in your opinion, but yeah. All right, Verstappen, he's in 7th place. He's got DRS on Piastri. He's made quick work of Lawson and Colapinto, and he's actually not got DRS on Piastri. He's got DRS off someone else, but he's got DRS of Lawson, who he just overtook, and yeah, soon enough he'll be on the back of Piastri. I don't know why Piastri's going so long. He's done 37 laps on the medium tyres. He's gone more than half of race distance. Maybe, and it would make no sense for him to switch onto the softs, because the softs are most definitely not a race tyre. They can do around about 4 or 5 laps under race conditions. You do not want to be pushing on the soft tyres. So maybe Piastri's waiting for a safety car here, because given the fact that if he comes into the pits now, he is, 35 seconds behind the leaders. If he comes into the pits, he's going to be in 14th, 15th position, and that's not where McLaren want him to be. Also, I would like to point out, with Ferrari in a 1-2 position, they are going to gain so many points on Red Bull in the Constructors' Championship, but not only Red Bull, because if Piastri comes into the pits, he's going to be out of the points. They're going to gain so many points on the McLaren as well. Okay, they've come over the radio. Colapinto's come over the radio saying something's wrong with the steering, mate. It goes stiff and then it goes soft, and it goes stiff and then it's soft. That seems like it's going to be a power steering issue. Some issue with the hydraulics there for Colapinto, and I can imagine why that's an issue. You know, if you think the steering wheel is going to be stiff and you have to, really start using all of your muscles to turn the steering wheel, and suddenly it goes soft, and then you're suddenly onto full lock, then your car's going to spin out of control. So Colapinto's going to have to be very careful. In fact, he's under pressure here from K-Mag, as he's got these power steering issues. So, but yeah, Colapinto's on a bunch of really old hard tyres, and we got K-Mag on fresh hard, so it should be a fairly easy overtake regardless. All right, earlier there was a lot of traffic, so they didn't want to pit, but that was at least 5 laps ago. Yeah, I mean, if Piastri comes in, did they say box for Piastri? Yeah, they have Piastri box. And if he does come into the pits now, that's going to be, down into 14th, 15th place. Very unfortunate. Okie dokes. But look at this gap up at the front. 7 seconds for Carlos Sainz. There is nothing that Charles Leclerc can do. It looked a little bit earlier like he could catch up to him, but the pace that Leclerc had, the pace to catch up to Sainz, that has totally disappeared, and there's nothing that he can do about it now. 7 seconds in the gap, that's going to be an almighty effort that he's going to have to do if he's want to catch up to his teammate. And Carlos Sainz looks fantastic. He's managing his tyres out at the front in fresh air. Doing a brilliant job. All right. Piastri comes out of the pits, 13th place for him. We got Lawson into the pits as well. The only drivers yet to come into the pits now are Colapinto, Bottas, and Ocon. So when all of those drivers come into the pits, Piastri will make it up into the points. However, 1 point compared to how many you'd be getting 15 if he was up into 4th place or something. That is a very small points haul for Oscar Piastri. What happened to Fernando Goat Alonso? He had a brake intake issue or something like that. Some issue with his brakes, so he had to end up retiring from the race. That's what Alonso had. Very unfortunate indeed. All right. Martin Staples, you do a fantastic job on commentary. This has been the first time I've typed in the chat, but I've been following you since you've had 1,000 subscribers. Wow! Well, Martin Staples, you've been one of the longest standing subscribers for a very long time now. We've just had another donation. Andrea Di Fad, you're the best commentator that I've had the pleasure listening to. Thank you very much, Andrea. And Forza Ferrari. Forza Ferrari indeed. 1-2 last weekend. It could be back-to-back 1-2s. That must have been so long since Ferrari have got back-to-back 1-2s. Liam Lawson manages to get ahead of Sergio Perez here. Oh no, this is not a good look. Lawson was in the last place of this race. He's just overtaken Sergio Perez to get second to last place. And Perez, at his home Grand Prix, is in 17th position, last out of everyone. That is... that is just terrible, isn't it? There's no other way that I can describe it. Yeah. All right, can Lando finish in second place? He's got a 5-second gap to Leclerc. He set a purple middle sector. I think Lando could catch up, but I think Leclerc's got more than enough pace in the bank to start attacking. Verstappen's come over the radio saying, oh, it's getting really dark. And we've just had a couple of questions over the radio. Leclerc said no rain or not, and the engineers have confirmed no rain whatsoever. So... yeah, it's the FIA predicted a 20% chance of rain at the start of the race. Verstappen's come over the radio saying it's getting a little dark, and the clouds have come out. There are no blue skies anymore. It's just the clouds are everywhere, and but no chances of rain so far. I'm just going to double check. I'm going to search up Mexico City weather on Google and see what happens there. Piastri has a great overtake on. Oh, no, in fact, no. Piastri just has set a fastest lap of the race. In fact, look at this. Piastri and Hamilton have the exact same fastest lap. How has this happened again? I don't know, but this is the 3rd time in 5 races that this has happened now. 2 drivers with the exact same lap time. And, well, there you go. Right, let's have a look. Mexico City weather. Google is telling me the chance of precipitation is 10%, and it's less than 1/4 millimeter of rain. So, yeah, I don't think it is going to be raining. Verstappen says over the radio, I've got no grip. That's pretty typical of Verstappen. It's the same thing that Hamilton did for so many years. Bono, my tyres are gone. And now we've got Verstappen saying, mate, I've got no grip. It's just a new phrase that comes up every couple of years. And there's not too much to read into that, to be honest. All right, Bottas versus Gasly versus Piastri. Battling away. This is quite an interesting battle here. In fact, Bottas goes defensive, Gasly goes to the outside, and Piastri might be able to get a double overtake done here. And Gasly gets the overtake done. Piastri looking for the switchback. Thank you for the donation, Exoteric. And it is line astern. Piastri gets a great exit out of turn number 3, and Piastri now looking to go round the outside of Valtteri Bottas in the Sauber. Super late on the brakes for Piastri, and Valtteri Bottas decides not to battle it too hard. He knows that he's in the Sauber and the car isn't all that quick. However, given that there are 3 DNFs, this is potentially one of his best shots to score points. So, actually, Bottas is still yet to come into the pit, so never mind. Let's just scrap that. It's pretty unlikely that I think Bottas will score points, but let's wait and see. Okay. Thank you everyone for hitting the like button. Thank you everyone for subscribing. It very much is appreciated. And if you aren't subscribed, then be sure to do so. Hopefully we can. I think maybe by the end of the season we could hit 120k. It's a little optimistic, but we've got how many races left? This is the 5th race left. We've got 4 races after this one. I think 120k is definitely possible. Yeah. All right. Oh, look, Colapinto has said, I've got oversteer and understeer at turn 90. I don't think he means turn 90. I think he means turn 19. In fact, there isn't a turn 19. I think it must be saying some other number that the AI can't pick up. But yeah, oversteer and understeer, that's we've heard that one before, haven't we? Max is losing 5/10 per Lewis. Let's have a look. On the previous lap, Verstappen was 0.4 of a second slower than Lewis Hamilton. In fact, yeah, that is correct. Hamilton's on the mediums. Hamilton's on the hards, and so's Verstappen. Both drivers have around about the same tyre age. Maybe it was a mistake from Verstappen on one lap, but the gap is 9 seconds. I don't think it's got any closer on the previous couple of laps. So that's interesting. We'll see. We'll see what that is. So Hamilton comes across the line now, a 120.889, and we'll see what Verstappen can do. What does the green outline mean on the interval? I think the green outline means the driver's gaining. I'm not 100% certain, but I think it means that the driver's gaining on the driver ahead of them. And Verstappen doesn't have the green outline. He comes across the line at 121.1. He's 0.2 off the pace of Lewis Hamilton. So, Verstappen's aim was to get up into 4th place, but if he can't even catch Hamilton, then he's not going to be able to catch Russell. And, I might be stuck in 6th position with Norris up in 3rd. That's going to hurt his championship chances, but nonetheless, this is still his championship to lose. Verstappen is a significant chunk in the lead of this World Drivers' Championship. All right. F1 given most likely a 2-stop? No, it is most likely a 1-stop. Track temperature's back down to 35 degrees, and everyone has been conserving their tyres for quite a while. Look at that. Everyone's spread out. Everyone's got clean air. It's most likely that we are going to see just a 1-stop race. Lando Norris sets a fastest lap of the race. He's trying to catch up here to Charles Leclerc. The gap was previously 5 seconds, 5.5 seconds. Now it's down to 4.6 seconds. So he's catching up, but will it be enough? We've got 26 laps left to go, so it's still a lot of time for Lando Norris to try and catch up to Charles Leclerc. We're looking at the weather radar here, and for the next 15-20 minutes there is no rain whatsoever. There is, maybe it's raining like 20-30 kilometers away, but for now no rain on for the next 20 minutes. Can someone please tell me why Alonso retired? Alonso had brake issues. That is why he is out of this Grand Prix. Very unfortunate, really, for Alonso's. It's Alonso's 400th race start, and for him to end up not finishing the race because of a brake issue is probably not the way that you wanted it to go. All right, we've got Perez versus Zhou. I mean, this is very unfortunate. I do not want to be seeing this, especially in Mexico when it's Perez's home race. But we have got Perez versus Zhou, who are both lapped, and they're fighting for the second to last place on the grid. Checo's got a hole in his side pod. Has he? Maybe he has, but when would he have got that? Oh, with Stroll, contact with Stroll. Maybe that explains why he's got a hole, if he's got a hole in his side pod, actually. Yeah, well, that might explain the lack of pace. But he looks to the inside of Guan Yu Zhou, breezes past him, and the Sauber had really no chance against Sergio Perez. All right. Another fastest lap of the race there for Lando Norris, I think, 120.2. I think that was quicker than his previous lap. So he's trying to catch up to Charles Leclerc, but Leclerc's also ramped up the pace, a 120.5 from him. Both Ferrari drivers, I think they've been instructed over the radio to do a 120.5, and they're just going to manage that time to it towards the end of this race. So, Norris has really got to pick up the pace if he's going to try and get second place. Your data is showing the wrong number. Perez and Zhou are in 4th and 5th place. Yeah, I don't think so. All right. Yeah. Let me know, folks. Who do you think is your driver of the day? Will it be Carlos Sainz. He's maintained the lead off the race start. Will it be Charles Leclerc? Will it be Lando Norris with a couple of fastest laps? Will it be Max Verstappen? Even despite a 20-second time penalty, he's still managing to finish in the top 6. Maybe Franco Colapinto. He started in 16th position, now up into 9th. Fantastic job from him. Will it be Piastri, who's about to overtake Colapinto, going down into turn number 7? That's going to be a very good battle indeed between those two drivers. And Piastri, of course, he started in 17th position, just one place behind Colapinto. And, Colapinto's still yet to pit. He's done 46 laps on these hard tyres. Both Colapinto and Ocon and Bottas are still yet to pit. They're all waiting out for a safety car, hopefully that's going to save them. But very unfortunate for them. And Colapinto, in fact, comes into the pits. And Piastri is let loose into 9th place. He's got 8 seconds to catch up to Hulkenberg, which he maybe could do that. But past that is going to be an uphill battle for him to get any more points. All right. Verstappen did have a 20-second time penalty. However, he served it in the pit lane. So right now he has got a 0-second time penalty to his name. And the same thing for Sergio Perez. He did have a 5-second time penalty for a false start, but he has served that penalty out. And he's got 0-second penalty to his name. In fact, everyone on the circuit has got a 0-second time penalty to their name. Maybe it would be Piastri. Piastri, driver of the day, started in 17th up into 8th. I'm not 100% certain. F1 Gamer, what does the transparent green colour mean on the gap times? I only know what the solid green colour means. I think transparent just means... the solid greens means within 1 second of the driver ahead, and transparent green means that the drivers are gaining on the drivers ahead of them. So they're catching up. So Hamilton, he's got a transparent green circle around his gap, and that means he's catching up to George Russell. And the same thing can be said, Norris is catching up to Leclerc, and Leclerc is catching up to Sainz. That is the overall trend of the data and the gaps. All right. Wow, we've got 30,000 people watching the live stream. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Hope you guys are enjoying the coverage. And hopefully I'll see you around next weekend as well for the Brazilian Grand Prix. We've got another sprint weekend. So it'll be FP1, then sprint quali, then the sprint race on Saturday. Then it will be the normal qualifying session. That'll be the normal race. So, if you guys are interested in that, I'm sure you are, considering you're watching the Mexican Grand Prix, then go ahead and subscribe and tune in for next week. Yeah. All right, but having a look at these lap times here, Lando Norris has backed off a little bit from the pace as well. Charles Leclerc and Sainz, both of them 120.8 now, so they've dropped back 0.3. And I think their aim is just to keep Lando Norris 0.2 quicker than them. So Norris will be quick and he'll be gaining, but he won't gain enough to get anywhere close to an overtake by the end of the race. Hamilton now has got DRS on his teammate earlier on in the race. So Russell started ahead of Hamilton, then Hamilton overtook him on the race start. Russell re-overtook Hamilton in the first stint, and now Hamilton is coming back at his teammate. He has 3-lap fresher tyres. I think he just has a little bit more pace, probably a little bit more battery as well, and he's going to have the advantage of DRS against his teammate. This is going to get very, very feisty. For some reason, Hamilton got his elbows out while Russell was trying to overtake him in the first stint, and by the looks of it, Hamilton is also trying to get his elbows out for this race as well, for the overtake on this stint. Okay. Does Lando still have a chance of the World Drivers' Championship? I mean, sure, but he's going to need a DNF or something from Verstappen, something major. And Norris is also going to have to win the race. He''s going to have to get ahead of both Ferraris, which both Ferrari drivers have fantastic race pace. He's got to get ahead of the Ferraris, and and Verstappen's going to have a DNF for that to happen. So a lot of stars have to align for that, and maybe they will, maybe they won't. That's up for you to decide. All right. But here comes Hamilton now. He's gaining. He's got the DRS 351 kilometers per hour down the main straight as he chases down his teammate. But George Russell super late on the brakes as well, and he's not giving up that easily. Hamilton's going to try it once again, now going towards turn number 4. This is his second chance. He's much closer. Russell, he's looking to the inside, but he decides to take the outside normal racing line. And Hamilton not close enough to get an overtake. Very nice. Alright, we are on lap number 51 of 71. We've got 21 laps remaining of this race, and Carlos Sainz comes across the start-finish line once again to complete one more lap of this circuit. We have got a purple middle sector from Franco Colapinto. I mean, he's done this on a fresh set of mediums, so that explains how he's got a purple middle sector. And in fact, he's got a fastest lap of the race as well. Franco Colapinto sat behind Charles Leclerc. He's been lapped by Charles Leclerc, but he's still sat behind him and getting DRS off him, I think. Or you might be trying to catch up to DRS Charles Leclerc, but Colapinto is it looks like he's getting a tow from Charles Leclerc as of now, which is very sneaky indeed. Has Max got to pit again? No. In fact, no driver has got to pit again. The only driver, no one will be pitting unless there's a safety car, in which case we will probably see everyone come into the pits for a fresh set of medium tyres. No one else will be coming into the pits till the end of this race. We have got Liam Lawson chasing down Lance Stroll here. Lawson battling away, hopefully trying to get into 12th place. Into 11th position. And in fact, he's just made a mistake there, which meant that Stroll could get away. A little unfortunate there for Lawson, but he's got another 20 laps to catch up. Is Sainz slowing down? I don't think so. I think he's had a bit of I think he's had one slow lap. He must have made a mistake somewhere, probably in the middle sector. Yeah, in the middle sector. The middle sector is very tricky. You know, it's a very rhythm-based thing. If you lose your rhythm in the first couple of corners, you're going to ruin your time through the fourth, fifth, and sixth corners. So, yeah, they're essentially. So he just made a mistake there, and that's why his previous lap time was a little bit slower. He's not actually slowing down, and he'll be fine. Okay. Oh, the data's just glitching out a little bit there. Everything seems to be fine, though. If it rains, are they allowed to pit again? Oh yeah, they're still allowed to pit whenever they want. It's just it'll be stupid for their race strategy to come into the pits now. If it does rain, then yeah. But the weather radar said for the next 15-10 minutes, it's not going to be raining. Will they switch to Ferraris? Most likely not. Admittedly, Leclerc does have an outside chance of a championship. However, I think if Leclerc can beat Sainz on outright pace, then sure they'll switch around. But I don't think Ferrari are going to come over the radio to say switch positions, please. And also, if they do, why would Sainz listen? Sainz is leaving Ferrari anyway by the end of the year, and he's got nothing to lose. He might as well get another win with Ferrari while he has the chance. Who knows if he can get a win with Williams? If he'll get another win in the rest of his season, not rest of the season, rest of his career. So, why give it up? Actually, what do you think would happen if Ferrari said swap the drivers? Do you think Sainz would just give up the position to Leclerc, or do you think he would just say, nah, sorry about that, no habo Ingles, and just continue on with his race? All right, lap number 54 of 71, and I think so. A lot of people saying no. I think Sainz will definitely say no habo Ingles and just continue on with his race. Why would he do that exactly? So, and he's earned this race win. It's not like he took it. He was in second place and he pushed his teammate wide and got the race lead. Like Sainz got pole and Leclerc messed up his lap and he got fourth place. So Sainz does deserve the win. Yes, Tights will come over the radio saying, stop inventing, or he'll just start singing Smooth Operator over the radio. Yeah. Wow, Piastri has been caught up by Hulkenberg. Yeah, Piastri's actually caught up quite a bit. The gap was at 8 seconds earlier. He's caught up at a very significant rate. Hulkenberg's doing a 121.6. Piastri's doing a 120.2. In fact, Piastri's lapping quicker than Norris is lapping at this moment in time. Admittedly, he does have 10-lap fresher tyres, but still, Piastri doing a solid job there. And he's now onto the back of Hulkenberg. He should get that overtake done. And maybe catch up to Magnussen by the end of the race. That'll be solid for him. All right, did the Mercedes swap there? Did Russell? No, Russell still holds the inside line. For a couple of laps, the Mercedes battle died away, but Russell, on this occasion, went defensive going into turn number 4, maintains the lead ahead of Lewis Hamilton, and nicely done. So Russell hanging on to that 4th place. He's got another 16 laps to defend against the 7-time world champion, but he's got track position, which is very, very key. Lewis Hamilton has got DRS, so we'll see what will happen there. All right. Why didn't Bottas go for the softs? He went so long on the hards by accident that he was in the lock range of the softs. Unfortunately, no. The softs can only do around about 5-6 laps of proper racing. They aren't really built to go for actual race laps. They're only really built for quali laps. So. And this is the softest tyres of Pirelli's range. We've got the C5, the C4, and the C3 for the soft, medium, and hard. And the C5s really can't do any sort of racing laps. Otherwise, you would have pit onto the softs. But no, the mediums are much more optimal to go to the end of the race on. Okay. Once again, we've got Lewis Hamilton versus George Russell. Going into turn number 1, Hamilton doesn't fight it too much. But then going into turn number 4, that's his opportunity to pounce. And, it looks like he was a little bit too far back on this occasion. Piastri gets an enormous run on Hulkenberg. Wow, from so far back. And he still sends it down the inside. I mean, Hulkenberg doesn't fight it. He knows that Piastri's going to get past him sooner or later. But Hulkenberg could have defended a couple of laps and made sure that Piastri doesn't catch up to Magnussen. Given there's 15 laps left to go, I think it's unlikely that Piastri will catch up to Magnussen. But Hulkenberg could have confirmed that fact by blocking Piastri for a lap or two. If Ferrari managed to pull off another 1-2, I'll implode. Well, you're only 15 laps away from imploding, maybe. We'll wait and see. Franco Colapinto holds the fastest lap of the race out of everyone. He's out on medium tyres, whereas most of the drivers are out on hards. And a solid job from Colapinto, to be honest. Yeah, we're a rookie with a fast lap of the race. Fantastic. Look at the gap up at the top. Charles Leclerc is only 2.5 seconds ahead of Lando Norris. Very, very close there. It's getting closer and closer. However, I think this is very calculated from Ferrari, and they are letting Leclerc manage his tyres as much as he possibly can. There's a bit of traffic that he's got to deal with as well. So once Stroll gets out of the way, Leclerc will have a bit more clean air, and that should help him out to build that gap up to Lando Norris. We saw this, I think, in Singapore as well. Norris had a 30-second lead over Verstappen, but as soon as he hit traffic in Singapore is obviously a lot worse for traffic than Mexico is, but he lost 10 seconds of time just because of traffic. So, yeah, they've got to be mindful of that. And I think the gap will extend a little bit more once Leclerc gets past Stroll and Norris gets past Lawson. All right. Finding a lap below 121. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Verstappen. I don't know. I don't think he's got damage on his car. But a 121 from him and all of the top 5. In fact, Kevin Magnussen, who's behind him, is doing a 120 laps, and Verstappen is still in the 121. So, yeah, not ideal there for Max Verstappen. I don't think he's particularly motivated. He did say his tyres don't have much grip. I don't know how much to believe him, but if his lap times are anything to go by, then his tyres indeed do not have that much grip. Is Norris in DRS? No. Norris is going to have DRS off Lawson, who in fact he's just got past, and Leclerc should get past Stroll on this next lap. So. In fact, no, Leclerc gets past Stroll on this next DRS zone there. Through turn number 12 he goes. Nicely done. And George Russell's still ahead of Lewis Hamilton here. Hamilton has got 3-lap fresher tyres, but at this point it's not going to make too much of a difference because Hamilton's driven for 29 laps on his. Russell's driven for 26 laps. A bit of traffic coming up now, Zhou. In fact, that's probably going to help Russell rather than slow him down, because he's going to have a bit of a slipstream, a bit of a tow down the main straight, maybe even some DRS, and that's just going to help him defend against his teammate. So I'm sure Russell will be pleased about that. Perez has got car damage, I think. Perez has got a damaged side pod, which explains him being down in 16th position. But still, at his home race, it's very, very sad to see him being out of the points, you know? Yeah. Oh no, guys, the gap 1.1 seconds between Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris. Both drivers have cleared traffic now. It is a straight fight. They've got Gasly mildly up in the distance. That's not going to be too big of an issue. Gasly's 8 seconds up the road. With 13 laps left, I don't think Gasly's going to be an issue to interfere. And even if he is, he'll get out of the way very promptly if there's a battle for second place going on. But let's just keep an eye on this gap. Hamilton is trying to overtake Russell once again. Russell goes defensive, manages to hold on to 4th place. Solid driving by George Russell. And Hamilton, in fact, loses the rear of the car as he's going to turn number 6. Gets a bit of a Tokyo drift on as he goes through that corner. And well, his rear tyres are starting to feel the pain now as he's been stuck behind his teammate for about 5-6 laps. The dirty air and the overheating is really going to get to him. But now, the gap, the battle that we've all been waiting for, Lando Norris versus Charles Leclerc for second place in this race. Will it be another Ferrari 1-2? Will it be back-to-back Ferrari 1-2s? Or will it be Lando Norris spoils the fun of the Ferrari team and gets up into second place? What's it going to be, folks? What's it going to be? Do you think it's going to be Leclerc? Do you think it's going to be Lando Norris? Leclerc can defend very, very well. The Ferrari seems to be fairly decent in a straight line. Yeah, we'll wait and see. If I'm not wrong, Max will start pushing lap number 65 and Norris will get P2. Piastri may or may not catch up to Max. Piastri is not going to catch up to Max. I can tell you that for certain. Piastri may catch up to Magnussen. Hamilton, does he get past Russell this time? No, still he doesn't. Russell is defending like an absolute beast here. He's defending like Fernando Alonso defended in 2021 Hungary. If you guys haven't watched the race highlights for that, I think it was 9 laps of Alonso defending in an Alpine, whereas Hamilton was in a Mercedes. And this was 2021, the 2021 Mercedes, and Alonso still held off Hamilton for 9 laps. That's exactly how George Russell is driving today. He's putting his car at the right place, right time, and Hamilton can do absolutely nothing about it. This time, though, Hamilton is very, very close, so we could see something happen here. Up at the front, the gap is 1.2 seconds. It's still a little bit too far for DRS to have much of for Norris to even get DRS. But I'm sure, he'll be waiting for a mistake from Leclerc. He'll be waiting for the perfect opportunity to deploy his battery. Hamilton, once again, 4/10 back as they go through the first couple of corners. And he's tried this move so many times. He stays right on Russell's tail as they go through turn number 1, 2, and 3. But into turn number 4, he just does not have the pace advantage. The DRS and the slipstream isn't enough to get past. And Russell maintains the lead. Well, not the lead, he maintains 4th place. All right. What happened to Max? Max got given a 20-second time penalty. If you take off the 20-second time penalty, Max would really be up in... Max would be up in 4th place. So, yeah, that's That's what's happened there. But now, Lando Norris, fastest lap of the race. He's got DRS. Here we go, folks. We have got 10 laps left to go, and we've got a battle for second place. Charles Leclerc versus Lando Norris. This is exactly what Formula One is all about. Lando Norris is now, he's got the DRS. Leclerc's looking in his mirrors. He hasn't looked in his mirrors for quite a while. In fact, half of this race, he hasn't been looking in his mirrors, but now he's got a papaya McLaren right there staring right at him. And he makes his way through the middle sector now. There's no sort of overtaking opportunities there. He's just got to keep it clean, no mistakes, and Lando Norris should not have the opportunity to get past. Gasly's coming up. There might be a little bit of traffic. This could help Leclerc out. If he can get DRS or a slipstream off Gasly on the next lap, then that could be enough to hang on to second place. But here they go through the stadium section. Zach Brown looks on, and he will be hoping with every single bone in his body that Lando Norris gets a fantastic exit out of turn number 16, because that's going to be crucial to... Oh, there's a mistake. Leclerc makes a huge mistake, loses the car, and Norris has got past him even before the start-finish line. A massive mistake. He saves it, does not go into the barriers, but I mean, there was no battling even going on there. Leclerc just made a mistake out of turn number 16, lost traction. The car snapped around here and there, and it's third place for Charles Leclerc. The double Ferrari 1-2 has slipped out of their hands, and a very rare mistake that you don't really see from Leclerc, especially in race trim. You know, Leclerc has made mistakes here and there in quali, that's fine, but in the races, Leclerc's fairly mistake-free, but he just gets a little bit out onto the dust, and then his car starts sliding around, and a big snap of oversteer for Charles Leclerc, and third place for him, and he's not going to have the pace to catch up to Lando Norris now. Yeah, unless Norris makes another mistake like that, I think that's fairly done and sealed. Oh, all right. Yeah, a massive snap. And just looking at those sector times, no, Leclerc has definitely not got the pace to stick with Norris now. He's got 30 seconds back behind him to Russell. He's not got too much to worry about. And Norris with the fastest lap of the race once again. And he's going to try and catch up to Sainz, but the reality is the gap is 8 seconds. It's going to be very tough. He's going to need a mistake from Sainz if he's going to get the win of this race. Alright, if it stands like this, Lando Norris will get 19 points off this race. Max Verstappen will get 8 points for finishing in 6th place. McLaren are going to go... McLaren get 23 points this weekend. Ferrari are going to get 40 points this weekend. And Verstappen is going to get 8 points. Red Bull are going to get 8 points this weekend. So Ferrari are only 30 points behind, 29 points behind McLaren if the positions stay this way. So, yeah, Red Bull are most definitely going to be third in the Constructors, and McLaren are under threat of losing first place in the Constructors to Ferrari. I mean, Ferrari looked fantastic in race trim, and Piastri's had a bit of a bad weekend. You know, if Piastri and McLaren have another bad weekend, or Norris has a bad weekend, then Ferrari could be the ones winning the World Constructors Championship, which would be incredible. All right, they've come over the radio to Leclerc saying, think about fastest lap. And they can think about fastest lap here. Leclerc has got a comfortable gap to George Russell behind him. In fact, he's got a 30-second gap, a 29-second gap. So he can come into the pits, put on a fresh set of softs, get the fastest lap of the race, and get that one extra point away from Lando Norris. And in this championship, things are going to go down to the wire, folks. We are on the 5th last race of the season. We've got 4 more races after this race. But with only a 30-point gap in the Constructors' Championship, things are going to go right down to the wire. Okay. Yeah, here we go then. Sainz, yeah, still 7 seconds ahead, and his pace is identical to Norris's, so there's no chance that I think he's going to catch up. I don't think there's any chance Norris is going to catch up, but yeah. I'm going to have a quick sip of water, folks, to make sure my throat doesn't start hurting. If you haven't hit the like button, please be sure to do so. Massively helps out the channel. And if you aren't subscribed as well, we're getting pretty close. In fact, we're, 24 subscribers away from 111k, which would be brilliant. Russell still defending against Hamilton. It's been so many laps now, but Hamilton has just been staring at the back of George Russell's rear wing, and there is nothing he can do. And I don't know how he's hanging on, really. I mean, huge props to Hamilton, but his tyres will be totally shot at this point. They'll be overheating so much, sliding around so much, but he's still able to stick to the back of Russell, which is a testament to how powerful DRS is around this circuit, but also a testament to Hamilton's skill. Yeah. Okay. And up in the lead of this race, we have got Carlos Sainz still 7 seconds clear with 6 laps left to go. We're on lap number 66 of 71. And Hamilton does get past on this occasion after being stuck behind his teammate for so long. He gets past into turn 1. I think Russell had a bad exit or something, and Russell's now too far back to get any sort of overtake done. And that one might be, well, I mean, that was well deserved for Lewis Hamilton. So much fighting for so long. And he finally manages to get ahead of George Russell. We'll see if Russell can fight this one back. He's still within DRS of Hamilton, in fact. So we could see a re-overtake going down the main straight on the next lap. Lawson got overtaken by Colapinto. A fantastic overtake by Colapinto. I think, or was it Lawson pushing Colapinto off the circuit? I'm not sure. Lawson got damage. Okay. There was a bit of an incident between Lawson and Colapinto. Colapinto's Lawson's got damage. He comes into the pits. Half his front wing's missing, so they have to replace that. But that's the end of the race for Colapinto. No points whatsoever. Not for Colapinto. End of the race for Lawson. No points for him. They are putting on a fresh set of soft, so he's going to get... Well, he's going to try for the fastest lap of the race, but I think if Leclerc comes into the pits, they're definitely not going to get that. And George Russell, 1.1 seconds back from Lewis Hamilton. He's not going to get this. He's not going to slipstream past. Oh, the data's just frozen there for a second. Apologies for that. I think, well, yeah, the stream's been running for quite a while. My laptop isn't the most powerful thing in the world, so quite thankful that this is only the first glitch that we've had. Yeah, Russell's out of DRS, and there's no chance that he's going to be able to re-overtake Lewis Hamilton. So nicely done. We've got track surface slippery, I think sector 13. I don't know, what does that mean, track sector 13. I think that's round the end of the circuit, but I'm not sure what the slippery surface means. Alright. Do you think if Franco didn't pit, he would have stayed in the points? Well, if Franco didn't pit, he would have been disqualified, because you have to come into the pits at least one time. So yeah, maybe he would have ended up in the points, but he would have also been disqualified. So yeah. All right, folks, I would also like to clarify, Verstappen got a 20-second penalty at the start of the race. He has already served that 20-second penalty. So right now, if he finishes in 6th position, he will finish the race in 6th position. There's no extra penalties to be added on or anything like that. All of his penalties have already been served. So wherever he finishes is his actual race position. Okay. 4 laps remain of this race. We're on lap number 68 of 71. We've got Oscar Piastri in 8th position there, scoring a couple of points there for McLaren. He could catch up to Magnussen, but it's going to be very tight. If he can get an overtake done, it'll be on the final lap of this race. They've come over the radio to Perez saying you can watch the highlights later, and Perez has said, "Oh, I'm watching it now." So I think Perez is, I think he's watching the battle between Hamilton and Russell. I'm not 100% sure, or if he's just watching the highlights on the TV screens as he drives past. Because he's in 15th position, there's no chance that he's scoring points. So he's started watching the highlights already. We've got a fastest lap of the race here from Lando Norris, and it's 6 seconds to him to catch up to Carlos Sainz. Also, folks, we're on lap number 69 of 71. That is very nice. What can I say? I mean, 69 out of 71. Very, very nice indeed. And the vote for driver of the day ends on this lap. Let me know who you think it's going to be. Maybe Carlos Sainz. Maybe Norris. Maybe Colapinto. I don't know. There hasn't been like anything super crazy. I mean, Piastri has made solid progress from 17th up into 8th, but there also have been a couple DNFs ahead of him. Liam Lawson comes across the line on a fresh set of softs to set a fastest lap of the race. We could see Leclerc come into the pits for a fresh set of softs to get fastest lap. Not sure about that, but I'm going to say Carlos Sainz is my driver of the day, because he's just conducted a very smooth operation. All right. Okay, and look at that. The gaps, every single driver, in fact, bigger. The gap is bigger than 1 second. I think Ocon's about to overtake Bottas, but yeah, nothing too serious going on as of now. Let's see, does Charles Leclerc come into the pits? Yes, he does. Leclerc's into the pits. He's going to come out on a fresh set of softs to do a fastest lap at the end of this race. Nicely done. Okie dokes. So that's going to be 1 extra point for Charles Leclerc and the Ferrari team, and 1 less point for Liam Lawson. And in fact, Lawson wasn't going to get the point anyway. You have to be in the top 10 to get the fastest lap point. So yeah. All right. Here we go then. Charles Leclerc's out on a fresh set of softs. He used them, I think, in Q1 at some point. But yeah, he's still in 3rd place, and he's going to get that fastest lap of the race. All right, folks, we've got 33,000 people watching. We're on the final lap of this race. Please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you enjoyed the coverage. I'll be commentating for the Brazilian Grand Prix, for all the practice sessions, the sprint qualifying, the sprint race, the actual qualifying, the actual race. I'll be doing all of it. So be sure to subscribe. Be sure to hit the like button. But we have currently got Carlos Sainz 5 seconds in the lead of the Mexican Grand Prix, ahead of his former teammate Lando Norris, and ahead of his actual teammate Charles Leclerc in 3rd position. So Carlos Sainz has done a fantastic job so far, and he's only got a final 2 kilometers stretch left to go. Here we go. Through the middle sector he finally comes. He's been pushing ever so hard from the start of this race, and yeah, a very good drive. So here he goes. Sergio Perez, unfortunately, in the last position at his home Grand Prix. He's come into the pits as well. Sergio Perez is going for fastest lap. We'll see if Leclerc gets it. We'll see if Perez gets it. But here comes Carlos Sainz. He got pole position yesterday. He comes out of the final corner now. Back-to-back wins for Ferrari, and it's back-to-back wins for Carlos Sainz. Actually, no, apologies for that. I've messed that up totally. But Carlos Sainz, his 4th career win, a solid drive from him today, and a super smooth operation for Carlos Sainz. Lando Norris in 2nd place after Charles Leclerc makes a mistake going through the final corner. And Leclerc, purple in the 1st sector, purple in the 2nd sector. And let's see if he can get that fastest lap of the race. All right. Here he comes. Out of the stadium section he goes. And what's it going to be for Charles Leclerc? Is it going to be a fastest lap of the race? Yes, it is. Very nice. Charles Leclerc, fastest lap of the race, purple in the 1st, 2nd and 3rd sectors to close out the podium for Ferrari. Hamilton in 4th, Russell in 5th, and Ferrari get closer to McLaren in the Constructors. Red Bull are cemented into 3rd place in the Constructors' Championship. Norris gains a couple points on Verstappen for the Drivers' Championship, and this has been a fairly exciting Grand Prix this weekend, folks. Thank you everyone for tuning in. And double podium for Ferrari, a fantastic job. All right. Thank you everyone for tuning in. It's been a pleasure commentating to you guys. Hope you have a wonderful morning, day, afternoon, evening or night, depending on where you are in the world. I'm going to end this live stream. I'll take you over to the sprint race for the Brazilian Grand Prix. So go ahead and just hit the like button for the sprint race, and go ahead and press a reminder button as well. It massively helps out the channel, just gives it a little boost before the stream actually starts. But a very exciting race today, and thank you everyone for tuning in, and I will see you in 1 week's time for the Brazilian Grand Prix. So yeah, just the final reminder, the like button, the reminder button, the subscribe button. Those 3 things, very much appreciated. And yeah, thank you very, very much. Ladies and gentlemen, see you in 1 week.